Chapter 24. Mu Qiqi was very excited. Her entire body was immersed in the pink bubbles, and she was in a hurry as she went downstairs. It was only when she entered the Ferris wheel that she calmed down, because Sheng Xiao was sitting beside her. He was really handsome from the side, especially when others did not even have the right to approach Sheng Xiao, while she could joke around beside him. That gave Mu Qiqi the illusion that she was special to Sheng Xiao. Is it that nice? Sheng Xiao had his eyes closed at first, but he could not avoid Mu Qiqi's passionate gaze, and so simply asked, "It's beautiful," Mu Qiqi said, pointing at the scenery outside. "The night view of Jianchuan is beautiful in the first place." Sheng Xiao laughed mockingly but did not expose Mu Qiqi. "Country bumpkin." Mu Qiqi laughed heartily. At least, she felt that she had never been so happy and blissful in the Mu family. Mu Qiqi treasured her time inside the Ferris wheel. She hoped that it would last longer, just a little longer, but time was always so short. Let's go home. It had been long enough. Mu Qiqi needed to rest for the night since she still had to fight Mu Tongxue tomorrow, which was why Sheng Xiao did not allow her to stay outside for long. Although Mu Qiqi was disappointed, she told herself that she must be satisfied. What if the heavens took away all the happiness she had left if she was too greedy? When Suzy Pei saw that Mu Qiqi was completely different from when she came back, she knew how important Sheng Xiao was to Mu Qiqi. So, she smiled and said, "Thank you, young Master Sheng, for being there for Mu Qiqi when she is sad." Sheng Xiao said nothing and simply turned away suavely. It was only when he returned to his sports car that he could feel his racing heartbeat. Why was it so easy to be addicted? Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi was lying by her window, watching as Sheng Xiao left before returning to her little bed and sat down dejectedly. She wanted more chances to be alone with Sheng Xiao, but it seemed to be wishful thinking. Even so, he allowed her to call him Xiao Xiao. He allowed it. Mu Qiqi's heart was beating very fast. She simply flipped open her phone, but her expression became very serious when she saw the message Qianqian had sent her. She had to rest up now for a good fight with Mu Tongxue tomorrow. When Sheng Xiao reached home, Mama Sheng was sitting in the living room. When she saw her son, she immediately greeted him with a smile. "Sheng Xiao, come here. Let's talk." Sheng Xiao glanced at his mother and then at the photos on the table. He suddenly had an idea. "Mom, what's it like this time? I know that my son doesn't even fancy Heaven Immortals, but you're already 26 this year. You should get married, right?" Mama Sheng pulled him to sit down. "The other brothers of the Sheng family have already had their second child at your age. Shouldn't you think about it?" Sheng Xiao looked at the young ladies and then at his mother. "Mom, don't let me see these things in the future. You know my temper. But, Mom, let me put it this way. If Dad forces me to marry her, I'll agree." Mama Sheng laughed at that because she did not hear what Sheng Xiao was going to say next. "However, I will treat her harshly, abuse her, and even beat her up. At that time, hand over her corpse, and don't blame me for not informing you." At that very moment, Mama Sheng's smile froze on her face. "I still have things to do tomorrow. I'm going to bed."
"Good night, Mom."
With that, Sheng Xiao rose and rushed back to his room at a speed that Mama Sheng could not catch up to. Knowing the Sheng family's circumstances, he had to make his stance clear. Moreover, ever since Mu Qiqi came, he was even less interested in finding a woman. He could not even take care of that little girl. The next day, Mu Qiqi woke up early. Suzy Pei was a little worried when she saw her eating breakfast calmly. "About the school? Don't worry, Auntie Pei. I'll take care of it." Mu Qiqi smiled at Suzy Pei. "Really, it's fine? I can handle it," Mu Qiqi assured Suzy Pei confidently. With the sun in her heart, there was no fear of darkness. At that thought, Mu Qiqi tightened her grip on the pen in her hand. It was the only thing that once belonged to Sheng Xiao. It was as if Sheng Xiao's warmth still lingered on it. "Well, be careful. Call young Master Sheng if you encounter anything you can't handle." There was reason for Suzy Pei's worry. There was no telling how much Mu Tongxue had bewitched the students after Mu Qiqi's 2 days away. If Mu Qiqi was bullied again because of Mu Tongxue, She knew that the confidence Muchichi had built up after much difficulty would be destroyed. Muchichi smiled faintly despite being aware of Suzipei's worry. She had to act and convince her aunt that she could handle it. Soon, Muchichi got into Old Lin's car and soon reached Eton. However, the rumors spread too quickly. Moreover, it was such explosive gossip for the students that everyone naturally did not hold back when they saw Muchichi in person. "Look, that's the Muchichi that Bango dropped. That's her, didn't she copy her exam results? She's always hanging out with bad people. Rumor has it that one of her students even had an abortion. Disgusting. Someone like her doesn't deserve to stay in Eton." Muchichi was aware that everyone around her was scolding her, insulting her, and misunderstanding her. But she was not as fearful as before, especially when she bumped into Mu Tongxue at the gates of her class. There was no sign of submission in her eyes, and she was as determined as ever. "You're back, sister." "Yes, I'm back." Muchichi nodded. "Aren't you afraid I'll bully you by sticking so close to me?" "Sister, you should solve your current predicament. The rumors are nasty. Everyone in the class hates you. I'm really worried for you." Muchichi laughed coldly and returned to her seat. Qian, who was sitting beside her, asked, "What did you say to that scheming sister of yours?" "She's waiting for me to kneel and kowtow to her," Muchichi replied. "Because I'm being ostracized by the whole class, so I have to ask her for help. I get goosebumps just thinking about it." Qian hugged her shoulders and said darkly, "But how are you going to explain all this to your classmates?" Chapter 25. Soon, the teacher entered the classroom and leveled a meaningful gaze at Muchichi. After all, Muchichi had already approached the teacher before she entered the classroom. "Please give me a chance to explain myself in front of the class." The teacher glanced at her and nodded. "You mustn't disappoint me. You must convince everyone." "Don't worry, teacher." Muchichi's gaze was very determined. That was why they were exchanging glances in the classroom. "Before we start, I have something to say. After all, this concerns the honor of our class. That is why, Muchichi, stand up and explain to everyone what Van Gogh's post is all about." In that instant, everyone turned to look at Muchichi. Mu Tongxue, on the other hand, smiled coldly, as if she was watching a show. She would like to see how Muchichi would explain her past blemishes. Moreover, wasn't it obvious that she wanted Muchichi to embarrass herself by being called out like that? For some reason, Mu Tongxue felt that she was starting to like her teacher. Or was she suddenly understanding the bigger picture? As everyone looked at her doubtfully, Muchichi rose to her feet and bowed deeply at everyone before saying, "As a classmate, I'm very sorry for making everyone laugh at me. But everything that was revealed in Van Gogh's post is true." The entire class was left speechless at Muchichi's words. They never thought that Muchichi would directly admit it. It was also out of Mu Tongxue's expectations. She had thought that Muchichi would shirk everything. "Are you crazy, Chichi?" Qian quickly tugged at Muchichi's sleeve to remind her. Wouldn't she be hated to death? Qian could feel the disgust directed at her from all directions. Was Muchichi going to go all out now? But Muchichi's tone changed. "But what I admit is only limited to the punishment that the school gave me and the results that were exposed. As for the rest, such as smoking with the gangsters and having an abortion, they were all fabricated. I skipped school, skipped classes, pranked teachers and classmates, and occasionally went to the school's broadcasting room to cause trouble. I violated the school's rules, but I didn't do anything to harm others. I just didn't like studying. I believe everyone must be wondering why I would bully Tongxue and why we are not close. Let me tell you, Tongxue has always been sick since she was young, and her body is delicate. That is why she was loved and cared for by my parents. That is why my heart was hurt, and I yearned for their love. That is why I became bad, got into fights, got demerits, and got last place in grades, all because I wanted my parents to care for me, but I realized that no matter what I did, it was useless. Everything I did was wrong. In the end, my parents didn't even want to acknowledge me and left me in my aunt's care. Why would they do that to me? I asked my aunt countless times, and she told me that as long as you worked hard, you'd definitely be liked. So, I started working hard. When I first arrived at Eton, I read day and night, and I believe everyone can see that. I admit that I was a bad child, but can't bad children learn well? Naughty child, can't you suddenly want to study hard? Can't bad children learn hard just because they are sensible? Teacher, bad children like us lack love in the first place. Can't we keep our pride? The other students in the class were silent at Muchichi's words. You can suspect me of cheating, but it's fine. I can prove myself through countless tests, and I don't blame you. After all, my grades have improved by leaps and bounds in 4 months. I can't believe it myself, but I've worked 10 times harder. If it's because of me that I've caused trouble for everyone, I apologize. But I will prove myself, as always. With that, Muchichi bowed and apologized again. At that, the entire class erupted in applause. After all, in their eyes, Muchichi was an example of a successful comeback, and everyone was naturally tolerant of bad children, turning over a new leaf. Moreover, Muchichi gloomily revealed the disparity in treatment she received at home, explaining why she kept bullying Tongxue. And with her desperate efforts when she first came to Eton, the students gladly accepted that Muchichi was a good child. Chi-Chi has explained herself to the roomers. What do you think? The teacher asked after Muchichi took her seat. I think Chi-Chi is very brave, admitting her mistakes and reining in before it's too late. Qian quickly raised her hand in support of her deskmate. Actually, Chi-Chi is very inspirational. I think so too. She's very persistent and didn't give up on herself. That's really great. No wonder Tongxue was the only one who invited us to her birthday party even though they shared the same birthday. It turns out that Chi-Chi's parents don't care about her at all. She's so pitiful. The students all expressed their trust in Muchichi, which left Tongxue very unhappy. In other words, Muchichi's explanation in class soon spread throughout the entire school. She had suddenly turned from a bad girl to a role model, a legendary student who rose from trash to genius in 4 months. Many students who had similar experiences came to her in secret, begging her to share their learning experiences, and she was willing to lend her notes to others to copy. That naturally dispelled the rumor that she had plagiarized her grades. Tongxue shot Muchichi a hateful glare from afar when she saw that she was surrounded by her classmates right after class. Because she did not expect Muchichi to use such a move. She would rather confess everything to Muchichi after putting herself at death's door. Chi-Chi, where are you looking at? Quick, help me with this question. Muchichi smiled apologetically at her classmate and explained, Can I have a few words with Tongxue first? Her classmate took the papers and led her out of the crowd to Tongxue's side, asking, Are my answers satisfactory? Sis, I don't understand what you're saying. It's fine if you don't understand, as long as you do. Do you think I'll keep giving in to you? I'll make you return what I've lost in the future. Tongxue, your tricks are completely useless against me. With those words, Muchichi walked past Tongxue and bumped her shoulder hard. Tongxue clenched her fists, because there was nothing she could do about Muchichi at that very moment. Be that as it may, Tongxue sneered inwardly. Return? How? Mom and Dad just don't want you, Muchichi. No matter how excellent you are now, you're just a little animal that no one wants. I'll humiliate you in the birthday party if you dare to compete with me, sis. Chapter 26. It was the twins' birthday on Christmas Eve, and Tongxue had invited all her classmates to the Mu family's birthday party. Qian, Muchichi's deskmate, could not help sighing when she saw Tongxue giving her classmates heartwarming gifts. Your sister really knows how to win people over. She's been like that since she was young, Muchichi replied. What about you? Her birthday is your birthday too. Are you saying that the Mu family is only throwing a party for her? Qian was puzzled. Even if you are disobedient, you are still their daughter. How could the Mu family be so ridiculous? How could we not have sister on our birthday? Tongxue answered as she circled behind them. Mom and Dad miss you very much, but you are stubborn and don't want to come home. Why would you need sister's invitation to celebrate your birthday? Right, sister? Auntie Pei will celebrate my birthday for me. Mu Qiqi replied. Then how cold would you be? Moreover, Aunt Zipe has agreed to come to our birthday party. Mu Qiqi looked at Mu Tongxue in confusion, but Mu Tongxue seized the chance to hold Mu Qiqi's hand and told her sincerely, Sister, don't be mad at me. Come home with Aunt Zipe on your birthday. Mu Qiqi held Mu Tongshue's hand and walked out of the classroom, looking at her seriously. What do you mean? I just want you to come home for your birthday party. We will celebrate your 18th birthday together. Mu Tongxue flung Mu Qiqi's hand away. Moreover, even if you are not a member of the Mu family now, the blood of the Mu family still flows in your veins. You have a duty to protect the honor of the Mu family, and we are twins. If you don't attend the party, what would outsiders say about the Mu family? Mu Qiqi smiled coldly at Mu Tongshue's words. You know very well that I am no longer a member of the Mu family, but outsiders don't. Moreover, sister, whether they think that we mistreated the Mu family's daughter or that you killed Grandma, it would not be good for anyone. I think that you should come home. It would be best for both sides. With that, Mu Tongxue turned and took 2 steps forward. Then, she said, we'll wait for you to come home on your birthday. Mu Qiqi did not say a word. She returned to the classroom and sat beside her deskmate. Qianqian immediately held her hand and asked, So, are you going back to the Mu family for the birthday party? I don't know. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Since you're the daughter of the Mu family, it's not a big deal for you to go back. How can I argue with my parents for the rest of my life? From Qianqian's point of view, the relationship between Mu Qiqi and the Mu family was just that of a rebellious child running away from home and a parent disappointed in the child. She believed that Mu Qiqi would return to the Mu family sooner or later. Only Mu Qiqi herself knew how much she wanted to cut all ties with the Mu family. From the day she was chased out of the Mu family, Mu Qiqi never thought about returning to that place. Therefore, when they returned to the little mansion in the afternoon, Mu Qiqi quickly asked Su Zipe, Aunt Zipe, did you agree to go to the Mu family? You said that you don't want to have anything to do with the Mu clan. Su Zipe quickly explained. The Mu family called and asked for your cooperation. That way, the outside world would publish negative news about the Mu family. Mu Qiqi nodded. They said that and you agreed? Why would I agree, Qiqi? Aunt Zipe had called and asked young Master Sheng before making the decision. After all, he had told us to be loyal to the Sheng family, and I would never regret it since I've made my choice. Brother Xiao agreed. Mu Qiqi quickly changed her words. Yes, Qiqi. Young Master Sheng is thinking for you. If you don't go and the Mu family spreads the word that you killed Grandma, how would you stand in Jianchuan in the future? Mu Qiqi stared at Su Zipe in disbelief, before laughing mockingly. Well, the Mu family never shows mercy when it comes to such things. I'll just go. But what if the Mu family threatens me with this again, Aunt Zipe? What should I do then? We'll slowly expose Mu Tongshue's mask of kindness, but before that, you must grow up and graduate safely. Su Zipe told Mu Qiqi. And who said that my Qiqi would be bullied this time? Qiqi is a changed woman now. She's no longer the Qiqi who could be bullied by anyone. I believe that even if you go to the Mu family wouldn't get anything out of it. Su Zipe was aware that Mu Qiqi's counterattack against Mu Tongxue earlier in the day had averted a crisis. Mu Qiqi would never have done such a thing in the past. But now, she was really different. She had been reborn under Sheng Zhao's tutelage. Mu Qiqi had no other choice. She and Mu Tongxue were the only 2 people in her grandmother's room at the time. Unless she let everyone see Mu Tongshue's mask of hypocrisy, anything she said would just be sophistry. That was why she had to hold it in for now. Still, she was 18. On her coming-of-age day, she actually did not want to spend it with Mu Tongxue, who loved to show off. She only wanted to be with Xing Xiao, and since she was going to the banquet now, it meant that she would not be able to see Xing Xiao at all on her coming-of-age day. Mu Qiqi was a little disappointed. When she returned to her room, she couldn't help taking out her phone and texting Xing Xiao. Well, I'm really going to the Mu family. Don't worry, I won't do anything to let you or the Sheng family down. On the other hand, Sheng Xiao had just finished his workout. Ignoring the sweat on his body, he sneered when he read the girl's text. "You're depressed, little girl. Crown Prince, would you do me the honor of having a drink with me tonight? Look, it's Sheng Xiao. He's working out here, too." Sheng Xiao had gotten used to being stared at along the way, but he never replied. Moreover, he was in a hurry to go to the little mansion to see the little one he missed so much. Mu Qiqi waited for Sheng Xiao's reply, but he did not move at all. But just when Mu Qiqi was about to sleep, she heard the sound of a car parked downstairs. So, she quickly got up, put on her pajamas, and dashed downstairs. Sheng Xiao parked the car. When he saw Mu Qiqi, he said to her, "Are you dog ears? You're so sensitive. Why are you here so late?" Sitting at the front of the sports car, Sheng Xiao crooked a finger at Mu Qiqi and flashed a devilish smile. "To see you, little one, of course." Chapter 27. Seeing her reaction, Sheng Xiao added, "You wish." Mu Qiqi promptly glared at him. "You've been living in this small mansion for almost 5 months now. In these 5 months, you've changed so much. Don't you want to let those who abandoned you see how much you've changed?" Sheng Xiao asked her, folding his arms. Mu Qiqi looked at him hopefully. "Of course I do. Isn't that it? On that day, your sister would definitely do everything in her power to show off and embarrass you. When the time comes, they would see with their own eyes how happy and comfortable Mu Qiqi is after leaving the Mu family. Aside from fearing that the Mu family would play tricks, the more important reason I've agreed is the latter. You're the little princess of the Sheng family. How could the little princess of the Sheng family lose out?" Mu Qiqi didn't know why, but whether it was a mountain of blades or a sea of fire, Sheng Xiao's words made her yearn for it. In fact, she also wanted to know what kind of expression those people in her family would have when they saw her change. "Jingyan will come tomorrow to arrange everything for you to attend the banquet, and I'll have him keep an eye out for gifts from the Mu family in the next 2 days. We'll snatch whatever they buy, and as long as it's for Mu Tongxue, I'll take it all for you." Mu Qiqi's heart warmed into an ocean at Sheng Xiao's words. After all, Sheng Xiao was the only one in this world who would snatch things for her. Mu Qiqi looked at him with teary eyes. "I'm suddenly looking forward to it. Go to sleep." Sheng Xiao nudged her head. "You still have school tomorrow. What about you? Why do you care?" Mu Qiqi reluctantly entered the mansion's main gates as she stared at Sheng Xiao's meaningful eyes. It was clearly cold outside, but Xiao, what is it? Sheng Xiao was not surprised by Mu Qiqi's shout at all. Instead, he turned to look at her and asked, "It's my 18th birthday. Although I really want the Mu family to see how much I've changed, I'd rather be with you. Of course, I know you're busy every day, but I really want to see you. If I go to the Mu family, I won't be able to celebrate your birthday with you. But it doesn't matter. The next day is Christmas. Can you spend Christmas with me? There's a company event on Christmas." After all, they were a diamond family. How could Huang Yao miss such a big holiday like Christmas? "Oh, then I'll go in and sleep." Mu Qiqi was very disappointed. She turned around and closed the door, not letting Sheng Xiao see her sadness. Was she being too whimsical? Why did he have to daydream like this? Sheng Xiao was already good enough to her. She couldn't be so ungrateful. Sheng Xiao watched as Mu Qiqi left in a hurry. In fact, he could already see the anticipation in her eyes. For girls, birthdays, Christmas, or any other festival was a good opportunity to get close to the person they liked. Sheng Xiao did not say much and simply gave Jingyan a call on the way home. "Keep an eye on the Mu family's movements over the next few days and help me snatch a few things." Mu Tongxue certainly wanted to shine on the night of her coming of age and gain everyone's envious gazes. She especially wanted to humiliate Mu Qiqi. Since young, Mu Qiqi would always get beaten up on their birthdays for causing trouble on that day. She could receive gifts from her friends and family, but Mu Qiqi could only receive criticism and education. This time, Mu Qiqi would not have a better ending. After all, she was no longer a member of the Mu family, and her parents would not spend any effort on her. That was why a battle gown was a must. That was why Mu Tongxue begged Mama Mu to buy her a gown. The salesperson at the luxury store was very happy because Mu Tongxue had taken a fancy to their high-class gown of the season, a pure white lace mid-length gown. You like this? Mama Mu saw that Mu Tongxue looked very beautiful in it and promptly decided to buy it for her daughter. Mu Tongxue nodded. It was the gown she was most satisfied with so far. However, when Mama Mu went to the counter with her handbag to pay for the gown, she heard the store manager say apologetically, "I'm sorry, madam. The gown your daughter tried on just now had already been bought by someone else. We made a mistake and didn't take it off. You don't have anything else? I'm sorry. That's the only one in the world. All our gowns are unique," the store manager explained. "Why don't you try something else?" "Forget it." Mama Mu turned and walked to Mu Tongxue, telling her what the store manager said. "Don't be angry, dear. Why don't we go home and get a designer to custom make it for you?" "I'm not angry, Mommy. Why don't I wear something from home? There's a lot of it anyway." "How could you? It's your coming-of-age ceremony after all." Even if Mu Tongxue liked that gown the most, it was now someone else's, and it would be meaningless even if they found a replacement. However, the mother and daughter had no idea that the person who took the dress was actually someone who paid them double the price. So, the store manager was naturally willing to cooperate and find an excuse to say the dress had already been sold. When Mu Qiqi returned home that night, she found a white box on her desk, with a bow tied over it. Mu Qiqi reached out to open the box and found a white gown lying inside. Susie Pei came into Mu Qiqi's room then and smiled when she saw her take out the gown. "I heard that Assistant Jing snatched it from my sister's hands. It was supposed to be a gift for Mu Tongxue. Mu Tongxue would be so angry if you wore that gown to the Mu family that day. You don't have to compare. You two sisters have similar figures, and Mu Tongxue has already tried it on for you." Xiao Xiao didn't lie. Mu Qiqi muttered quietly. "He really snatched something from Mu Tongxue. What did you say?" "Nothing. I'm just saying that the gown is beautiful," Mu Qiqi replied. "Don't worry, Aunt Sipei. We'll enjoy Mu Tongshua's expression that day. Young Master Sheng is so considerate. You mustn't let him down after he did so much for you. You must hold your head high when you enter the Mu family." "I know." Mu Qiqi nodded solemnly. "I think I've fallen in love with the feeling of being able to cause trouble for Mu Tongxue." Chapter 28. Nonsense. Even if my Mu Qiqi turns bad, she wouldn't be as bad as your sister. My Mu Qiqi wouldn't hurt others on her own. Susie Pei was confident in Mu Qiqi on that. "Aunt, Mu Qiqi, you shouldn't have the heart to harm others, but you should always be vigilant. Young Master Sheng can't bear to see you being bullied, and he is your greatest source of confidence." Before, Susie Pei had thought that Mu Qiqi would never really change her fate by following Xing Xiao, and would at most have a place to stay. However, after 5 months together, Susie Pei realized that Xing Xiao's demonic nature was nothing like what the rumors said. His character was like that, uninhibited and free, and he often had a sharp tongue. Even so, he would never say a word to Mu Qiqi. He really did it, and Mu Qiqi would have everything he had. That alone was enough for Susie Pei to be completely loyal to Xing Xiao. Even if it wasn't for Mu Qiqi, she would go through fire and water for Xing Xiao. On the day before her birthday, the results of the national math competition were out. Mu Qiqi had won first place in the high school category with full marks. It was inconceivable that a girl could learn math so well. It also dispelled the rumors that Mu Qiqi's results were plagiarized once more, and the students of Eton were now convinced of Mu Qiqi's results. Even if Van Gogh's students came to mock her, they would retaliate on their own. It was because Van Gogh did not teach students according to their aptitude that a young genius like Mu Qiqi would be buried. Eton was different, however. They had unearthed Mu Qiqi's brilliance, which was why Eton was a higher school than Van Gogh. Van Gogh's students had nothing to say in response, since none of them expected Mu Qiqi to be so smart. When the results were announced, the teacher deliberately praised Mu Qiqi. "It was the right decision to send you. All of Eton is proud of you now. After all, Even if Mu Tongxue had experience in many competitions and obtained countless rankings, she had never gotten first place in any of them. And full marks. Moreover, the teacher was implying that it was fortunate that Mu Tongxue was not sent. The entire class applauded and congratulated Mu Qiqi, which meant that Mu Tongxue's desire to control Mu Qiqi had completely failed. Qiqi, you're really amazing. You're my idol. Qianqian hugged Mu Qiqi exaggeratedly and shook her. You have no idea how much better you are than your scheming sister. Mu Qiqi turned to look at Mu Tongxue before turning back to Qianqian. I'm not comparing myself to her. I'm just comparing myself. Because Sheng Xiao reminded her that the one she should defeat the most was herself. Although Mu Tongxue was unwilling, there was nothing she could do. After leaving the Mu family, Mu Qiqi seemed to have changed into a different person. She was no longer the cowardly Mu Qiqi she used to be. This time, she was lucky, but next time, she might not be so lucky. Anyway, there was still time. At that thought, Mu Tongxue moved from her seat to Mu Qiqi and congratulated her. You're amazing, sister. I'm proud of you. Thank you. Mu Qiqi replied to Mu Tongxue. Tomorrow is our birthday party. You have to go home early. Mom and Dad miss you. I can only say that I will be there. Mu Qiqi answered seriously. All right, we'll be waiting for you and Aunt Pei. It was only after Mu Tongxue left that Qianqian asked Mu Qiqi, why do I have the feeling that she's not that kind? Do you think she would bully me now? Mu Qiqi narrowed her eyes at Qianqian. Of course. We're going to the Mu family tomorrow. After all, everyone knew that Mu Qiqi was not on good terms with the Mu family. What would happen if the Mu family ignored Mu Qiqi? Mu Qiqi herself was not worried about that because she did not really need her parents' love. On the night of the 23rd, Mu Qiqi stared blankly at the little white gift placed on the table. Sheng Xiao had snatched it from Mu Tongxue, and she would certainly wear it. Still, she minded it because she had to deal with the Mu family and could not see Sheng Xiao on her birthday. She knew that Sheng Xiao would be very busy with Huang Yao's nationwide event. Still, it was a little secret she kept in her heart. Even if she could only see him once, Huang Yao was currently going through the final confirmation of the event. As the heir of a diamond family, the responsibility Sheng Xiao shouldered was unimaginable, even if he appeared uncontrollable. Young master, everything is ready. But you have to leave for Paris right away, or you won't make it to the product launch. Jing Yun reminded Sheng Xiao, holding the schedule. Sheng Xiao looked at his watch and told Jing Yun, the flight is at 3 in the morning. I'll be at the airport before 2. You go first. But, young master, the old man has been discharged. It doesn't matter if I go or not. Sheng Xiao cut him short. I know the gravity of the matter. I understand. Jing Yun nodded. Without another word, Sheng Xiao drove away from Huang Yao's headquarters. However, he did not go back to the Sheng family but to the production base instead. Crown Prince, young Master Sheng. Everyone at the production base was respectful when they saw him. That was when Sheng Xiao found the master designer of Huang Yao and told him, use the best blue diamond this year to make a hair accessory for me. Is it urgent? It's simple. I can finish it in a few hours. Sheng Xiao handed the design to him. All right. Please wait a moment. Sheng Xiao arrived at the production base at 8 and waited for almost 5 hours. When he received the gift, the designer was very tired. Young Master Sheng, what you want is for a girl. Today's expenses will be deducted from my personal account. Don't tell anyone that I've been here. Sheng Xiao instructed. Got it. Sheng Xiao took the gift and drove to the small mansion. But it was already 1 in the morning, and Mu Qiqi was already asleep. Sheng Xiao could not wake her up, so he used the spare key and left the gift in front of Mu Qiqi's door. He rarely used the spare key because he respected Mu Qiqi and Sheng Xiao's privacy. It was because he respected Mu Qiqi's privacy, but he could not care about that now. The little one would be happy to see it, wouldn't she? He might even be abroad on Christmas, let alone her birthday. There was no telling how disappointed the little girl would be if he was not there for her coming-of-age ceremony. At that thought, Sheng Xiao was about to turn and leave, but Muchichi got up cautiously when she heard the noise downstairs, thinking that there was a burglar. Chapter 29. Sheng Xiao turned and quickly asked when he saw Muchichi. "Why are you awake? It's really you?" Muchichi walked up to Sheng Xiao in her pink pajamas, appearing very excited. "Why aren't you going in now that you're back?" "I'm flying to France soon," Sheng Xiao told her even as he put on his black gloves. "Oh, when are you coming back?" "I'm not sure," Sheng Xiao replied. Muchichi lowered her head to hide her disappointed look, before looking up again. "Then hurry up and leave. Did you see anything at the door?" Sheng Xiao returned to the living room and asked her since he had been discovered. "I didn't turn on the lights just now." With that, Muchichi quickly went upstairs and found the blue gift box by the door. She picked it up and opened it, only to find a hair accessory embedded with a blue diamond inside. Delighted, Muchichi quickly went downstairs and asked Sheng Xiao, "Is this for me?" Sheng Xiao nodded. A coming-of-age present. Muchichi understood then. He had come to give her a coming-of-age present before he left. Muchichi felt an impulse when she saw the sparkling diamond hair accessory. She did not just think about it. She simply got close to Sheng Xiao, tiptoed, and kissed his cheek softly. Sheng Xiao froze, while Muchichi's heart was pounding. Perhaps afraid that Sheng Xiao would get angry, Muchichi quickly turned and hurried upstairs with the present. "Be careful on the road." "I'm going back to sleep." Sheng Xiao reached out to touch the spot where Muchichi had kissed him. Wasn't this little one a little too wild? Still, he did not get angry. Instead, he glanced at Susie Pei's room by reflex to make sure that he did not disturb her, and only turned to leave as if nothing happened. Muchichi excitedly jumped onto the white bed when she entered the room, as if she had done something shameful, feeling both embarrassed and excited. Downstairs, Sheng Xiao had already driven away, but Muchichi's wildly beating heart could not calm down. Then, she hid under the blanket and opened the gift box again, taking out the hair accessory and holding it in her palm. In that very moment, Muchichi felt as if she had received a treasure. It was from Sheng Xiao. It was his coming-of-age present. What should she do? She might not be able to sleep well tonight. Moreover, she kissed Xiao Xiao. Although she felt that she had done something wrong, she could not control herself. It was past midnight. She was 18 years old. She was an adult now. Could she like someone else now? In fact, it wasn't just Muchichi. Even Sheng Xiao was reminiscing the kiss on his cheek on the way to the airport. It was not like an adult's kiss at all. It was filled with desire. Muchichi's kiss was unbelievably gentle. Of course, it was also unbelievably intimate. As for him, instead of stopping them, they fell into the trap. His first reaction after being kissed was to hide it from others, especially Susie Pei. He wanted to treasure Muchichi's love. Soon, Sheng Xiao arrived at the airport. Jingyan told him that he was waiting in the VIP lounge. Jingyan took the ticket and said, "Young master, it's time to go through the security check." He suddenly remembered what Muchichi had asked him. When would he be back? Sheng Xiao thought for a moment, put on his gloves again, and turned to leave the airport. "Young master, where are you going?" "Go home and sleep. But there's the product launch in France tomorrow. The old man is already there. It's not that important whether I go or not. Moreover, I've been busy for so long. I want to give myself a break." Jingyan was taken aback. But he was used to it. Sheng Xiao's temperament was unpredictable. No one could force him to do something he didn't want to do. With that, Sheng Xiao left the airport. Although Jingyan was helpless, he was not surprised. He gave Papa Sheng a call and reported the situation. Papa Sheng snorted coldly on the other end. "I knew he was like this. It's fine if he doesn't come. Jingyan, prepare well." "Yes, master," Jingyan replied. Muchichi did not know that Sheng Xiao did not leave Jianchuan. She went to school the next morning, but Susie Pei asked her during breakfast, "Did you hear anything in the middle of the night?" Muchichi's heart skipped a beat, but she still answered calmly, "Aunt, did you hear it wrong?" "Forget it. Why would I ask you? It's your birthday today. I've made something delicious for you. Bring it to school later." "Thank you, Auntie Pei." Afraid that Susie Pei would question her about last night, Muchichi quickly left after breakfast. After all, she realized that she must not let anyone know that she liked Xingxiao. Otherwise, her aunt would be the first to disagree. She was only 18 while Xingxiao was 26. Moreover, they were practically adopted. In Susie Pei's heart, Xingxiao was Muchichi's older brother. There was nothing else. How could she know that Muchichi had so many thoughts about Xingxiao? Muchichi reminded herself that even if she really liked Xingxiao, she must hide it carefully for him and for herself. Otherwise, she could foresee that she and her aunt would not be able to stay in the Sheng family if this matter was exposed. She must keep her diary even more carefully. When she reached school, Mu Tongxue was already telling her classmates about the time for the party. Of course, she would remind Muchichi as well. Sister, we'll be at home at 6:30. See you there. Aunt Zipei is coming too. Muchichi snorted coldly at Mu Tongxue. She might not be able to enjoy her glory tonight if she was so smug now. When Muchichi returned home after school, she found that Susie Pei was completely unprepared. Aren't you coming, Aunt Zipei? Muchichi asked her in confusion. I have other things to do, so I won't be going. Moreover, I'll only embarrass you if I go. You can just go. Susie Pei smiled. I'll make you a cake at home and wait for you to come home to celebrate. But I believe in you.
You can handle it now.
You are an adult now. No one can force you to do anything you don't want to do. Susie Pei handed the gown to Muchichi.
Put it on.
I'll help you dress up. Muchichi nodded. Muchichi simply did not expect that Susie Pei was preparing a surprise for her. Since it was a coming-of-age ceremony, she certainly could not simply miss it. As her aunt, she had no other ability but to try her best to make her niece happy. Muchichi nodded and did not force Susie Pei. She simply took the dress to her room and put it on now. She was the young lady of the Sheng family, and not the Mu family. Chapter 30. The Mu family had decorated the mansion lavishly so that Mu Tongxue could entertain her classmates in style. The decorations were all exquisite and expensive, and it looked like a pink princess's castle. Mu Tongxue's dress for the evening was a pale pink one-shoulder gown, making her look noble and imposing like a princess from a medieval fairy tale. Her classmates arrived one after another, bringing the presents they had chosen. Even Muchichi's deskmate, Qian, was there, but Muchichi was nowhere to be seen. Strangely, Mama Mu appeared kind, and the servants of the Mu family were easygoing. It was hard to imagine that Muchichi would be treated differently in this family. Mu Tongxue was the center of attention. She was beautiful and elegant among her classmates, and was certainly eye-catching. Tongxue, you're so beautiful tonight. Tongxue, why is your figure so good? Girls would always talk about such things after class, especially those from prestigious families who would always talk about international superstars. Mu Tongxue was delighted, but that was when Mama Mu tugged her aside and asked, Where's your sister? Why isn't she here yet? Mommy, I don't know if she's coming. Mu Tongxue told Mama Mu that because she believed that Muchichi would not dare to come and humiliate herself. After all, was there any place for her in the Mu family now? It's already so late. Why is she still the same as before when she's gone somewhere else? She doesn't seem to have any manners at all. Mu Tongxue chuckled softly and acted coquettishly in front of Mama Mu. Mommy, you can't blame her. After all, she's alone outside now. Her guardianship has been taken away. Strictly speaking, she's not my daughter anymore. I invited her to my birthday party out of goodwill, and she's still putting on airs? Mommy, don't be upset because of an outsider. Everyone was looking for Muchichi, but she was nowhere to be found. Everyone was curious about Muchichi's relationship with the Mu family, but it seemed that Muchichi was a dispensable existence to the Mu family. After all, the photos used in the party were all of Mu Tongxue alone, and the other decorations were all of her. There was clearly no place for Muchichi there. Forget it, there's no need to wait. Let's sing the birthday song. Mama Mu held her daughter's hand and walked towards the three-tiered cake. But that was when the butler came in and said to Mamamoo and Mamamoo, "Eldest Miss is back." Soon, everyone in the party turned to look at the door, only to see Muchichi walking towards them in a white lace gown. Tonight, Muchichi had put on some light makeup. Her hair was tied up in a bun, which made her look like a forest. Looking at her delicate skin, Muchichi looked like a little fairy under the light. She was surrounded by an ethereal aura and was glowing. Qian immediately ran over. "I thought you weren't coming." "It's my birthday too." Muchichi smiled at Qian. Nonetheless, Mamamoo and Mu Tongshua's faces darkened at Muchichi's appearance. It was for no other reason than that Mu Tongxue had taken a fancy to the dress Muchichi was wearing. It turned out that Muchichi had stolen it. Mamamoo glanced at Mu Tongxue before walking up to Muchichi. "Chichi, what time is it? Why did you come so late?" "Hello, Aunt Mu." Muchichi smiled.
I'm sorry.
"There was a traffic jam on the way, and my driver had to take a detour." Muchichi answered gracefully. What embarrassed Mamamoo the most was the way she addressed Muchichi. "Aunt Mu." "Sister, this is Mom." "I'm sorry. I'm not a member of the Mu family if I remember correctly. That's why you have no reason to ask me to come early, since I'm a guest." Muchichi smiled. In that moment, Mamamoo was very surprised. Was this still the submissive eldest daughter she knew 5 months ago? Why was she able to speak so eloquently and be so confident? For some reason, Muchichi's personality immediately outshone Mu Tongshua's gentle personality. Everyone watched Muchichi as if they were watching a show and gave her a thumbs up. "Awesome. Cool. You can't say that, sister. After all, you've lived here for so many years. I don't need you to remind me of the humiliation." With that, Muchichi moved closer to Mu Tongxue and said, "Or I'll steal your life like I stole this dress." Mu Tongshue's face fell. "I didn't think that's all you've learned in a few months." Mamamoo pretended to be angry at Muchichi. "You're not behaving like a lady from a rich family at all. Tongxue, play a piano piece for everyone to liven things up." "What's so great about playing the piano? Who here wasn't the daughter of a rich family?" Muchichi paid no attention to the Mu family stares and simply walked to a corner to chat and laugh with her classmates. "Chichi, why are you talking back to your mother?" Qian asked Muchichi in private. "I would have been beaten up if it were me. Because I'm not a member of the Mu family anymore. They're clearly here to humiliate me. Do I have to be polite?"
Sigh.
"It's so weird, you two sisters." Qian scratched her head, unable to understand why Mamamoo would look at Muchichi so differently. Of course, the banquet became even more exciting with Muchichi's arrival. Mu Tongxue had been racking her brains to think of ways to suppress Muchichi in front of her classmates. And Muchichi was now full of personality and completely uncontrollable. Everyone in the Mu family was surprised by Muchichi's change. Where had the cowardly, timid, and obedient Muchichi gone? Why didn't anyone recognize the Muchichi now? Mamamoo was not convinced by Muchichi's change either, because her feelings towards her daughter were very complicated. She had given birth to her but caused her endless trouble, and she felt relieved when she sent her away. Still, she sometimes felt sorry for her. But now, she was more curious about why Muchichi could live a more confident life after leaving the Mu family. Could it be that she really did not know how to teach her daughter? To suppress Muchichi's arrogance, Mamamoo took out the present she had prepared for Mu Tongxue. "Baby, it's your coming-of-age ceremony. This is the present Mommy prepared for you." Mu Tongxue took the present and opened it in front of everyone, only to find an exquisite pink diamond ring lying inside. "Thanks, Mommy. I like it." Chapter 31. That was when Mamamoo walked up to Muchichi with another box. "It's your birthday too," she told her. "I've prepared this for you." She could tell from the decorations that it was a completely different gift from Mu Tongshue's. What? Using all sorts of tricks to humiliate her, the daughter who had been abandoned? Muchichi sneered inwardly and joked, "Why is this different from Mu Tongshue's box? You're both my daughters, Chichi. Why would Mommy prepare a different gift for you? And who's picky about gifts?" "It's not polite," Mamamoo replied. Mama Moo answered. Stay with me, and we'll bring you back when your father's anger subsides. Take it, Chi-Chi. Qian urged. Sis, it's Mommy's goodwill. She wants you to come home. Mu Tongxue came to Mu Chi-Chi as well, wanting Mu Chi-Chi to take it. Mu Chi-Chi reached out and took the gift box from Mama Moo, but dropped it on the floor because she did not hold it properly. You child, you can't even hold something properly. Mama Moo crouched down angrily and picked up the gift she had prepared, but Mu Chi-Chi did not take it. Since the heavens don't want me to accept this gift, I'll listen to them. Thank you, Auntie Moo, but I don't think I need it. With those words, Mu Chi-Chi took out a blue diamond hair accessory and put it on her head. Because I already have the best gift. Wow, it's beautiful. Qian exclaimed. Chi-Chi, it's a dark blue diamond. Do you know how rare dark blue diamonds are? Mama Moo froze where she was and quickly put the gift box away when she saw the hair accessory on Mu Chi-Chi's head. After all, it was certainly not a diamond ring as everyone thought. She would only embarrass herself and appear poor if she took it out again. She did not expect that someone would give Mu Chi-Chi such a precious gift. A dark blue diamond. Everyone crowded around Mu Chi-Chi to admire the hair accessory. The shape of the starlight definitely suited Mu Chi-Chi. Mommy, Mu Tongxue was upset that her spotlight had been stolen. Go and cut the cake with your sister. Mama Moo told Mu Tongxue, gesturing at the cake with her chin. Mu Tongxue nodded and walked to Mu Chi-Chi, holding her hand. Sister, let's cut the cake together. Mu Chi-Chi was aware of Mu Tongxue's intentions. She had never changed after so many years, and it was obvious that she wanted to frame her on such an occasion. Still, Mu Chi-Chi did not try to dodge, and simply allowed herself to be led by Mu Tongxue to the cake. Sister, although you've left the Mu Jia, you still can't escape the fate of being framed by me. With those words, Mu Tongxue turned to smile at Mu Chi-Chi and tripped over herself where no one could see. Everyone saw Mu Tongxue fall, and Mama Moo quickly reached out to help her. Mu Chi-Chi had been admiring Mu Tongxue's performance from start to finish. Why was she still doing the same thing after so many years? Tongxue, are you alright? Mommy, I'm fine. Mu Tongxue cried. It's not my sister's fault. I tripped myself. At that, Mama Moo quickly walked to Mu Chi-Chi and said, Chi-Chi, vent your anger on Mommy. Why don't you change? Why do you still bully your sister? Mama Moo asked. She tripped herself. Who would trip themselves? Mama Moo exclaimed in disbelief. Why are you always so vicious? Everyone was looking at Mu Chi-Chi, watching as she was blamed. Mu Tongxue was sprawled on the floor, moaning weakly, but there was a smile on her lips. Qian looked at Mu Chi-Chi worriedly. But Mu Chi-Chi smiled and walked around Mama Moo to Mu Tongxue, reaching out to help her up. Why were you so careless? Sister. Mu Tongxue called out meekly. I don't blame you really. Mu Chi-Chi blinked mischievously as she held Mu Tongxue and promptly shoved Mu Tongxue onto the three-tiered cake. Everyone watched as Mu Tongxue fell awkwardly into the cake, instantly turning into a cake person. It was a very comical sight. Since you said I tripped you, I might as well push you down. Wouldn't I be bearing the blame for nothing? Everyone stared at Mu Chi-Chi in disbelief, not expecting that she would actually do such a thing. Qian, who was watching in a corner, felt relieved. That was how one should deal with such a drama queen. Mu Chi-Chi. Mama Moo quickly helped Mu Tongxue up, only to find that Mu Tongxue was crying and running away from everyone. In a fit of rage, Mama Moo raised her hand to slap Mu Chi-Chi, but Mu Chi-Chi caught her wrist. Aunt, I'm already an adult. Are you still going to hit me? Aren't you afraid that I'll tell my guardian? No one can say anything if I hit my daughter. Your daughter? Mu Chi-Chi smiled coldly and snatched the gift box from Mama Moo's hand, opening it in front of everyone to find a pearl necklace that did not look very valuable. Your youngest daughter is a diamond. Why is it a pearl when it's mine? How biased. That's right. They're both daughters. Why is there such a huge difference in treatment? The guests were all looking at Mama Moo in confusion. This is a family matter. Please don't pay too much attention to it. Mama Moo quickly told everyone. It's not like we've wronged her. She knows very well why it's like this. It doesn't matter if it's clear or not. Thank you for your hospitality tonight, Aunt. I think it was very interesting. There's nothing fun to do now that the cake is ruined. My aunt is still waiting for me to eat at home, so I'll be going. With those words, Muchichi turned with a smile, her back neither servile nor overbearing, completely unlike the Muchichi who could be humiliated by anyone before. Happy birthday, Tongxue. I'm going too. With those words, Qian ran after her. Every guest watched as Muchichi left. Now that the party had been ruined, it would be awkward if it continued. That was why everyone else found an excuse to leave as well. Mama Moo's face was unusually dark. Everything that happened today was beyond her expectations. The guests are gone. Aren't you going to clean up? I'm going upstairs to check on Tongxue. The servants immediately cleaned up. Outside the villa, Qian saw Muchichi take out a note from her little backpack and burst into laughter. I was wondering why you were so mighty at night, but you actually rehearsed for yourself beforehand? Muchichi smiled. That family is like a pack of wolves and tigers. I wouldn't have dared to go up if I didn't watch some gangster movies to get myself some lines. Muchichi replied. You're awesome. Qian burst into laughter. Chapter 32. It couldn't be better. Qian gave her a thumbs up and whispered to Muchichi. Even took an embarrassing photo of your sister falling into the cake. I'll send it to you when I'm done. Muchichi hugged Qian and urged her. Hurry home. It's so cold. It's worth the cold to watch such an interesting show. With that, Qian got into her chauffeur's car, winking at Muchichi before she left. Muchichi smiled happily and soon found the spot where Old Lin parked his car. Old Lin did not expect Muchichi to come out so soon and quickly asked, Miss Muchichi, did you suffer? No, it's just that it's boring to stay here, and it's better to go home and keep my aunt company. Muchichi replied. Uncle Lin, you'll have dinner with us later. I'm just a chauffeur. I don't deserve it. Old Lin joked. In my heart, you and my aunt are both people who truly care about me. Muchichi told him sincerely. Old Lin chuckled, satisfied. After all, Muchichi really treated him as an elder and never looked down on him, which made him feel respected. I really want to keep driving for you, Miss Muchichi. I like you too, Uncle Lin. Old Lin sped up so that Muchichi could reunite with Suzy Pei as soon as possible. Still, Suzy Pei thought that Muchichi had been wronged when she saw her return so soon and quickly asked, Did the Mu family? No, Auntie Pei. I just missed you. Muchichi said coquettishly. It's good that you weren't bullied. I thought. Suzy Pei lowered her guard and led Muchichi to sit in front of the cake. You're an adult from today onwards. You're 18, and no one can order you to do anything you don't want to. I've never been well off, and I don't have anything to give you, so I bought you a bracelet. With those words, Suzy Pei took out the gift she had prepared for Muchichi. It's nothing expensive, but I've tried my best. Muchichi took the box from Suzy Pei, and her eyes turned red. This is the best gift I've ever received. Surprisingly, this bracelet had a starry sky theme. It was made up of a few irregular blue stones, and it matched her hair accessories very well. So, what if I don't have parents? Muchichi thought that she had Uncle Lin, her aunt, and Xiao. That was enough. Muchichi put on the bracelet and made a wish in front of the cake. Then, she sang the birthday song with Suzy Pei and Uncle Lin. She felt very warm on this coming-of-age night. On the other hand, Mu Tongxue had to clean herself up in the bathroom for about 2 hours after she fell on the cake before she was completely clean. Mu Tongxue burst into tears in her room at the thought of how humiliated she was. Helpless, Mama Mu hugged her daughter and coaxed her. Swear, don't cry. Mommy, I've never been so embarrassed. This time, Mu Tongxue was really sad. Every time she remembered that all the guests in the living room had seen her fall, she felt so ashamed that she wanted to crawl into a hole. She had never thought that Muchichi would treat her like that. She had actually pushed her into a cake in public. Your sister is to blame for this. I really don't know who taught her how to behave after she went out. What a disgrace. Mama Moose said angrily. I'm going to tell your father about this. Mommy, I'm so sad that my sister treated me like this. All right, Schwer, your father would definitely uphold justice for you. Uphold justice? How would he do that? Was he supposed to drag Muchichi out of Eton and beat her up? They were both daughters, and Muchichi was certainly not afraid of the Mu family's vengeance if she could do that. Still, no one expected that Muchichi would be so crafty and push Mu Tangxue onto a cake in front of everyone. When Papa Mu returned home, he heard about what happened at the birthday party. Of course, he did not believe it at all. After all, his impression of Muchichi was that she was timid and cowardly. How could she humiliate Mu Tangxue in front of so many people? She dared. But the truth was that Muchichi dared. After all, she now had someone who could support her. After the birthday party, Muchichi returned to her room to rest. There was no telling how Xiao Xiao was doing in France. He must be busy, right? Be that as it may, Muchichi could not help sending him a message. Xiao Xiao, I taught Mu Tangxue a good lesson tonight. Wasn't it great? It's Christmas tomorrow. I hope you have a Merry Christmas too. Muchichi thought that there was no telling when he would see her message. She was about to wash up and go to bed when he replied. Wear something thicker. Come out. Muchichi did a double take.
Go out. Yes.
Don't let your aunt find out. Muchichi's heart raced, but she did as she was told. She put on a thick padded jacket and sneaked out of the house when Su Zipei returned to her room. Muchichi looked around when she reached the little garden outside the mansion, but did not find Xing Xiao. But just as she was about to call him, a big hand reached out from the darkness and pulled Muchichi into a sports car. Aren't you in France? Muchichi asked in delight when she saw Xing Xiao. I suddenly don't feel like going. Xing Xiao drove away from the little mansion with Muchichi. Where are we going? Xing Xiao turned to look at Muchichi with a dangerous look in his eyes. I'm bringing you to do something bad. Of course, Muchichi did not dare to look at him at all. Instead, her heart raced and her face lowered, blushing. Did Xing Xiao know that she liked him? Muchichi did not dare to say a word along the way. It was only when they arrived at the seaside that Xing Xiao got out of the car against the cold wind. Muchichi followed him out of the car and found that someone was releasing calming lanterns by the seaside. Yes, she was beautiful, but she was very cold. Muchichi was shivering all over. At that, Xing Xiao pulled Muchichi to him and clamped her between his arms. Muchichi's heart raced even faster. She almost suffocated. Why are we here? Muchichi asked, looking up. Xiao Xiao, I'm cold, helpless. Xing Xiao brought Muchichi back to the car and opened the sunroof. Muchichi's cheeks were flushed, but it was frozen red in that very moment. Xing Xiao pinched her cheek, and Muchichi held his hand in pain. Both Xing Xiao and Muchichi froze at the gesture. Chapter 33. Xing Xiao did not look at Muchichi's eyes, but wrapped his warm palm around her small one. Muchichi said nothing. She was afraid of breaking that moment of bliss, and could only lower her head awkwardly and look elsewhere. Xiao Xiao was holding her hand. Xiao Xiao was holding her hand. Xing Xiao said nothing either, and the pair stayed in silence for around 10 minutes. It was only when someone came to urge them to move the car that Xing Xiao let go of Muchichi's hand. Muchichi was disappointed that her hand was suddenly empty, as if she could still feel Xing Xiao's warmth. Are you warm? Xing Xiao asked Muchichi as they drove away.
Huh.
A little warmer. Muchichi quickly answered. Much warmer. Then where are we going now? There were few in Jianchuan who did not know Xing Xiao, which was why he would attract attention wherever he went. It was only a matter of time before everyone found out if he openly brought his little one to other places. That was why he could only bring Muchichi to the seaside. But the seaside was cold. Seeing Muchichi's cheeks reddening from the cold, Xing Xiao could only bring her back. However, his actions left Muchichi very confused. Are we going back now, Xiao Xiao? Xing Xiao stopped the car as they entered the garden of the little mansion. He simply stayed quietly with Muchichi, not answering her question. That left Mu Qiqi feeling that Sheng Xiao was acting very strange tonight. What's wrong, Xiao Xiao?
Who was Sheng Xiao?
The great crown prince of Huangyao who often killed without a trace in the business world. Even so, he was at a loss when it came to the little girl. His emotions were very complicated when he faced Mu Qiqi. He wanted to take the little one for himself at all costs, but he was afraid of burdening her. He did not care, and he would fight or kneel if he wanted to. But Mu Qiqi's life was as if she was walking on thin ice every day. She had just turned 18 and had yet to understand the Mu family. If she joined the Sheng family's opposition, Mu Qiqi's life would never have a day of peace. That was why he restrained himself. For 26 years, Sheng Xiao did not know what restraint was. But now, he admitted defeat, as if he suddenly had a weakness in Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi was a little scared when she saw the gloomy look on his face. Could it be that she had upset him somehow? Xiao Xiao. Sheng Xiao did not answer Mu Qiqi. Instead, he took out a box from his storage cabinet and threw it at Mu Qiqi, his demeanor reverting to the devilish crown prince he usually was. A reward for you.
What?
Mu Qiqi opened the box to find the latest white mobile phone. A mobile phone? Replace your outdated phone that can only send text messages, Sheng Xiao ordered. I've already saved his phone number for you. Mu Qiqi nodded and held the phone in her arms. I understand, Xiao Xiao. Go back. Your aunt will look for you later. Sheng Xiao reminded himself to stay calm. He had to restrain himself no matter how much he wanted to be with Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi nodded. She was a little disappointed, but she was very obedient. Mu Qiqi really thought that Sheng Xiao would bring her to do something bad. In fact, she knew that Sheng Xiao would not, but she was secretly anticipating it. Then, Mu Qiqi turned and opened the car door. But that was when she turned and asked Sheng Xiao, Xiao Xiao, it's a little pretentious for me to say this, but I still have to say it. You're the reason why I'm a new me. Thank you for giving me a second life. You're so long-winded, Sheng Xiao said impatiently. Mu Qiqi smiled and went with the flow to lean on Sheng Xiao's shoulder tentatively. Sheng Xiao tried to push her head away by reflex, but did not push her too far. Satisfied, Mu Qiqi paused for a long time before saying, Good night, Xiao Xiao.
Okay.
Sheng Xiao grunted coldly and drove away after putting Mu Qiqi down. Did Mu Qiqi know that this was an interaction only between lovers would have? Mu Qiqi knew nothing and had never been in a relationship. All she wanted was to get closer to Sheng Xiao just a little. She was really satisfied with this coming-of-age night. Watching as Sheng Xiao's car drove away, Mu Qiqi tiptoed back to her room and wrote down everything that happened that night in her diary. Of course, for safety reasons, Mu Qiqi did not write anyone else's name in her diary and always used he or she. Mu Qiqi simply lay on her bed when she remembered that Sheng Xiao had held her hand that night. Kicking her legs in joy, her feelings for Sheng Xiao seemed to have taken root through one incident after another. That is, she must not let her aunt find out. Otherwise, she was afraid that she would never be able to keep liking Sheng Xiao. When he got home, Sheng Xiao desperately splashed cold water over his head because he realized that he was not the usual wanton Sheng Xiao. Why was that? Why would he have such strange feelings for a little girl? He was used to seeing beauties of all shapes and sizes, and it was not as if he had never had physical contact. But why was it that holding the little one's hand would make him so excited? Was that what he meant by liking her? Even so, the little one was still so small. To calm himself, Sheng Xiao stood under the shower head and drenched himself with cold water. Perhaps he really wanted to understand what kind of feelings he had for Mu Qiqi. The next day, all of Jianchuan was shrouded in the Christmas spirit. Mu Qiqi went to school as usual, but found that Mu Tongxue had asked for leave due to illness when she arrived. Everyone knew why Mu Tongxue had asked for leave when they remembered what happened at the Mu family last night. But could she hide forever even if she could? Was there a need to be secretive when she was already lost? Qian deliberately showed Mu Qiqi the photo in her phone. I'm dying of laughter. Ha ha ha. Mu Qiqi laughed as well. She did not expect that Mu Tongxue was quite photogenic. Still, Their happiness did not last long before they were called into the teacher's office. Muchichi did not know why until she saw Papamu in the office. Muchichi froze. This was the person she was most afraid of in the Mujia, and also the person she hated the most. After 5 months, they finally met. Chichi, your father seems to have something to tell you personally. Muchichi's palms were sweating. After all, Papamu had pressured her immensely. Even if she had Sheng Zhao's support now, she felt conflicted whenever she remembered how Papamu had punished her. I wonder what Uncle Mu wants from me. Chapter 34. Frame? Kindness? Although Muchichi was used to those words coming out of her father's mouth, she still found it rather embarrassing in front of her teacher. However, she was no longer a member of the Mu family. Even if she had that man's blood flowing in her veins, legally speaking, her custody was no longer in the hands of that man. Moreover, she had just become an adult yesterday. So, why should she be afraid? Why should she be afraid? At that thought, Muchichi looked up at Papamu. I'm sorry, Uncle Mu. Mu Tongxue tripped herself on purpose to frame me. That's why I pushed her. If you want to blame someone, you should blame your precious daughter, not me. Papamu could not hold back his anger at Muchichi's firm words. He was about to slap Muchichi, but the teacher stopped him. Parent, this is a school. Teacher, let him do it. There are cameras here anyway, and I'll let him see my lawyer. Muchichi said directly. Papamu stared at Muchichi in disbelief. He did not expect that she had become so crafty in just a few months. How did your sponsor teach you? Where's your sense of propriety? I don't have propriety, but it's better than someone who can't differentiate between humans and animals. Muchichi replied calmly. The teacher stopped Papamu again when he saw how agitated he was. Parent, calm down. This is an educational place. Teacher, you don't have to stop me from teaching that little brat a lesson. She was chased out of the Mu family because she killed her own grandmother, and I've only chased her out since we shouldn't wash our dirty linen in public. I didn't expect her to get worse, and even frame her own sister. The teacher looked at Muchichi in surprise when she was done. Muchichi, however, emphasized with a hint of helplessness. I told you, it's Mu Tongxue who fed Grandma the wrong medicine. You're still quibbling. Tongxue has always been filial to her grandmother. That's not evidence to convict me of killing Grandma. I'm sorry. Muchichi retorted stubbornly. The teacher caught the crux of their conversation and was shocked at how Papamu treated Muchichi. You still have the nerve to say that? How much trouble have you caused for your family since you were young? Do I need to tell you everything from the beginning to the end? Muchichi bit her lip. Feeling wronged, she stopped talking. Listen up, Muchichi. I won't go easy on you if you harm Tongxue again. With that, Papamu turned and left the teacher's office, leaving the teacher with a complicated expression and the humiliated Muchichi. However, she did not cry. Instead, she stubbornly raised her head and let her tears fall. Then, Muchichi looked at her teacher, her voice trembling. Teacher, please believe me. I really didn't kill Grandma. The teacher's heart ached when she saw that. She quickly hugged Muchichi and comforted her as if she was her own child. I believe you. I really do. After all, she had seen with her own eyes how Mu Tongxue behaved one way in front of others and another behind their backs. That was why she would definitely believe Muchichi if she had to choose between the twins. Moreover, what surprised her was Papamu's attitude towards the two sisters. Wasn't it too different? Hence, the teacher asked Muchichi for the reason. As if she had found a second mother, Muchichi told her everything she had been through over the years, including how she was chased out of the house and sold off by her uncle. Her teacher was silent for a long time after she was done, before adjusting her glasses and comforting her. Chichi, humans are born as blank sheets of paper, and it's instinct to make choices and reactions that start with them. That's why there's no such thing as kindness in this world. All kindness is bestowed upon us by our environment and moral standards. There are also some people who are born to be actors and have a very strong acting personality. There are even some who know how to do evil from birth. Haven't we seen it all in the news? Children of a few years old strangling their neighbor's baby, or girls of a few years old purposely abandoning their stepmother's child. Those are all facts. That's not unusual. You just happen to meet a younger sister who's so good at acting. Twins would fight for attention even when they're in the womb. That's why you have to face the problem. It's not your fault, understand? Muchichi nodded. As for your original family, there's nothing to hope for. Rich families probably only care about profit. You're an adult now, and all I can say is that you've met a great sponsor. You're great too, and you must hold your head high in the future. It's fine, okay? In fact, Muchichi understood all that. She just hoped that her teacher would believe her. Don't worry, and go to class. I'll keep it a secret. Muchichi nodded and bowed deeply to her teacher in gratitude. As for the Mu family, she had completely given up on them. From now on, she would never give in to the Mu family. At least, Papa Mu's days of beating and scolding as he pleased were over. When they returned to class, Qian quickly asked Muchichi, "Did you get scolded by your teacher?"
No.
Muchichi shook her head. "She's very good to me. But you've been gone for so long. I was so worried." Muchichi no longer expected Mu Tongxue to change. After all, she never had a conscience. As for her parents, it was as her teacher had said. Let them go with the wind and pretend that she was born out of a rock. That was fine. When they got home that night, Muchichi told Suzy Pei about her encounter with Papa Mu in school. Suzy Pei was almost in tears when she heard about it. I've never seen such an animal father. Auntie Pei, taking a deep breath, Suzy Pei waved her off. You're fine now. Just pretend that the family is dead. Muchichi nodded and helped Suzy Pei. They were about to eat when Xing Xiao strutted into the living room and took a seat at the dining table. Muchichi blushed when she saw Xing Xiao. She remembered how they held hands last night. She could still feel his warmth on her palm. Young Master Sheng, you're not going out with anyone for Christmas today? Suzy Pei asked, adding an extra pair of chopsticks. It's too noisy outside. It's quieter here. With that, Xing Xiao picked up the chopsticks and started eating without holding back. Why don't you have a girlfriend?
Suzy Pei asked.
You're in your prime at your age. Xing Xiao glanced at Muchichi by reflex, only to find that she was lowering her head, almost burying her face in her bowl. I'm looking. Xing Xiao simply answered Suzy Pei. Chi-chi, and I will bless you when you find one. Chapter 35. Xing Xiao glanced at Muchichi out of the corner of his eye, but said nothing. Muchichi quickly finished the rice in her bowl and told them, I'm going back to my room. Is the child full? Suzy Pei did not sense the unusual atmosphere between them at all, and simply watched as Muchichi hurried upstairs. She did not want Suzy Pei to see her blush, afraid that her aunt would suspect her. Please don't mind her, young Master Sheng. The child was wronged again in school today. Suzy Pei explained to Xing Xiao. Wronged? Xing Xiao's eyes darkened at once. Suzy Pei put down her bowl and chopsticks at the question and told Xing Xiao about Muchichi's humiliation by Papa Mu in school. That animal of a brother-in-law of mine told the teacher that Muchichi killed Grandma. He only told the teacher today. Who could guarantee that he would announce it to the whole world to protect Mu Tongxue one day? Muchichi could not take such a blow. What would others think of her? Is she called a murderer at such a young age? As a matter of fact, Muchichi was hiding by the stairs on the second floor, secretly eavesdropping on their conversation. She felt aggrieved when she remembered Papa Mu's outrageous behavior in school today and his incessant questioning. Xing Xiao did not say anything about the matter and only sent Muchichi a message when Suzy Pei cleared the dishes. Meet at the same place later. Wear thick clothes. Muchichi wiped away her tears when she read the message and quickly returned to her room to change into warm clothes. What if Xing Xiao brought her to the beach again? Late into the night, when Suzy Pei returned to her room to rest, Muchichi tiptoed out the door and sprinted to where Xing Xiao was at the speed of a 100-meter sprint. Xing Xiao had switched to an inconspicuous black car and brought Muchichi to the revolving restaurant in front of the amusement park. There was a Christmas atmosphere everywhere in Jianchuan at the moment, especially the huge Christmas tree in front of the amusement park. Mu Qiqi liked it very much when she saw it. Xiao Xiao, I want to go for a walk. Sheng Xiao tilted his head and glanced at Mu Qiqi. When he saw that she was wearing a thick cotton-padded jacket, he nodded. I'll park the car somewhere quiet. You can take a look. Okay. In fact, Mu Qiqi was very satisfied with that. When Sheng Xiao got closer, she quickly took out her phone from her backpack and took a picture of the huge, twinkling Christmas tree. Xiao Xiao, look, Sheng Xiao never cared about festivals. To him, Christmas and Tomb Sweeping Day were just the difference between whether people would come to Huangyao to buy gifts. Still, seeing that Mu Qiqi liked the festive atmosphere so much, he did not say a word and simply led her away. This time, they boarded a yacht in the amusement park. Floating on the river, there were only the two of them on the boat. Mu Qiqi pretended to admire the night scenery around her, but her attention was fully focused on Sheng Xiao. Sheng Xiao sat on the boat for a long time before asking, Have you seen enough? Mu Qiqi quickly averted her gaze. If anyone from the Mu family uses your grandmother's death to threaten you again, just blow it up. The Sheng family has a team of lawyers who wouldn't mind working with the police to investigate the real cause of her death. But there were only two of us in the room. What are you afraid of? She's either you or her murder. You can't find any evidence that she's the culprit, and she has no evidence that you're the culprit. Sheng Xiao retorted coldly. Your sister pretending to be a White Lotus might work on your family, but not on others. If something like this happens again and you're wronged, fight back. What's there to endure? Mu Qiqi said nothing, and could only nod frantically. Remember that your own happiness is the most important. Some people don't deserve your consideration. Mu Qiqi sat across from Sheng Xiao on the windy river, listening to his lecture. After all, she knew that there weren't many people in this world who truly wanted her to be happy, and Sheng Xiao was one of them. Then, Sheng Xiao put his arm around Mu Qiqi's shoulder and let her lean on him. It appeared to be a gesture to protect her from falling into the river, but for Mu Qiqi, any chance to be near Sheng Xiao made her extraordinarily happy. Did Sheng Xiao do that because he liked her too? Of course, Mu Qiqi didn't dare to ask, but she was already pleasantly surprised, and, because of Sheng Xiao's love, Mu Qiqi became bolder and bolder. You changed your car? My car is in the garage again. Sheng Xiao answered nonchalantly, but his handsome face was so handsome that it angered even the gods. Xiao Xiao, my hands are cold. Sheng Xiao said nothing, and simply took out a pair of red Christmas gloves from his pocket and threw it to Mu Qiqi. I got it from Huang Yao's event today. Mu Qiqi felt sweetness in her heart. She felt that Sheng Xiao was giving her more and more things, while she hadn't given him anything yet. She couldn't afford anything expensive. Xiao Xiao, I haven't prepared a Christmas present for you. Sheng Xiao sneered at that. I can even afford you. What do you think I lack? That's different. Mu Qiqi thought to herself that she would definitely give Sheng Xiao a proper present. The time on the cruise seemed long, but it was actually very short. After all, Sheng Xiao couldn't let Mu Qiqi stay outside for too long. Coming out to play was already a gesture. So, after they disembarked, they got into the car and returned to the small mansion. At that moment, Mu Qiqi had eyes for no one but the man she had a crush on, and liked him a little more every day. Soon, they arrived at the small mansion, and Mu Qiqi reluctantly got out of Sheng Xiao's car, quietly opened the door, and went back to her room. Sheng Xiao was waiting downstairs, and only left after she turned off the lights. But when he got out of the car, he was attracted by the stationery and notebooks that were scattered beside the passenger seat. It must have slipped out of Mu Qiqi's bag when she took out her phone. Sheng Xiao picked up the notebook and the stationery, put them on the desk in his room, and went straight to the bathroom to wash up. When he came out with a towel wrapped around him, he returned to the desk and picked up Mu Qiqi's brown notebook. The little one actually had the habit of keeping a diary. Holding the notebook, Sheng Xiao lay down on the bed and switched on the bedside lamp. Chapter 36. Under the nightlight, Sheng Xiao opened Mu Qiqi's diary. In fact, he was very nervous. As the crown prince of Huangyao, he had never bothered to do what he thought was a lowly thing. But this diary was different. A diary was a person's most private matter, just as it could record a person's darkness and malice. Hence, Sheng Xiao promptly flipped to the last page of the diary, not reading a single word before that. The last thing Mu Qiqi recorded was the time they held hands at the seaside. In that very moment, everything that was on Mu Qiqi's mind was exposed to Sheng Xiao, and he was even more certain of the little one's feelings. She liked him a lot. That others might not understand, but he would never not understand. It was something they had experienced together, and he would never forget that he was not referring to himself unless he was forgetful. After reading the last page, Sheng Xiao closed Mu Qiqi's diary, changed his clothes, and called Jing Yun. He was actually going to Mu Qiqi's classroom in Eton in the middle of the night. Jing Yun did not understand at all what Sheng Xiao was doing, but quickly contacted the principal and did as he was told. Without anyone noticing, Sheng Xiao entered the school and found Mu Qiqi's desk. Then, he put the diary and stationery that Mu Qiqi had left in his car into Mu Qiqi's drawer. When Jing Yun saw Sheng Xiao from outside the classroom, he suddenly felt that Sheng Xiao was becoming more attentive towards Mu Qiqi. He had personally come here in the middle of the night just to put Mu Qiqi's diary back on her desk. "Young master, we should go," Jing Yun reminded him. Sheng Xiao put the diary away and left the classroom. The two of them left quietly, pretending that nothing had happened. Still, Jing Yun couldn't help asking Sheng Xiao on the way, "Young master, you could have let me do this." Sheng Xiao was sitting in the back seat, his head tilted backward and his eyes closed, but his voice was cold. "Can I still trust you, Jing Yun?" Jing Yun did a double take and couldn't speak for some time. Still, Sheng Xiao's question had touched the bottom of his heart, and it was after a long time that he finally spoke his mind. "Young master, we grew up together. You should know very well what kind of person I am." It was clear in the past, but it might not be the case now. Sheng Xiao straightened up and looked at Jing Yun through the rear-view mirror. "I know you don't like Mu Qiqi. In your heart, I have to serve the Sheng family wholeheartedly. That's why you are loyal to the Sheng family, not me. You've already become someone who can't communicate with me." Jing Yun was speechless. He could not say anything. Although Sheng Xiao appeared to be free and unrestrained, he had always been a meticulous person. That was also why he wanted to return Mu Qiqi's diary personally. He no longer trusted Jing Yun, and if Jing Yun saw the contents of Mu Qiqi's diary, what would he do to Mu Qiqi? Even he had only read the last page of Mu Qiqi's diary. Although he appeared to be fierce and untouchable, he knew to respect the people he valued from the bottom of his heart. Both master and servant had different thoughts that night. Still, Sheng Xiao did not insist that Jing Yun support Mu Qiqi, because he did not like taking sides like that. If it was not loyalty from the heart, it would be useless no matter how much you force it. In fact, Jing Yun himself knew that Sheng Xiao was paying less and less attention to him because his attitude towards Mu Qiqi had always been negative. The next morning, Mu Qiqi did not find her diary when she was packing her bag. She broke out in cold sweat because of that. It was her most secret, and it would be troublesome for anyone who saw it. Could she have left it in Xiao Xiao's car when she went out last night? Or maybe she forgot to put it back in her bag. Still, she was not in a hurry to ask Xiao Xiao. Because of that, Mu Qiqi was not in the mood for breakfast. She simply grabbed her phone and left the house, heading straight to school. Qian saw her frantically rummaging through the desk once she reached the classroom and quickly asked, "What's wrong? Did you lose something?" "My diary," Mu Qiqi said. "Then look for it carefully." Qian quickly helped her, pulling out everything from the drawer. Thank goodness. Mu Qiqi breathed a huge sigh of relief when she found the brown diary safely in the drawer. "It's good that you found it." It was fortunate that no one saw it, including Xiao Xiao. Otherwise, she really did not know how she would face him. At that thought, Mu Qiqi still felt that she should not keep a diary in the future. If someone really saw it, wouldn't everyone know her secret? Since class had not started, Mu Qiqi tore the diary into pieces and threw them into the trash can. She had thought that Mu Tongxue would not come to class today, since she had embarrassed herself so much during the birthday banquet. But before class, Mu Tongxue arrived, looking pitiful and wrapping herself up tightly. "Look at that little bitch of yours. She thinks she won't be laughed at just by wrapping herself up like that? She really knows how to cover herself up." Mu Qiqi stopped Qian Qian so that she would not speak loudly. "There's no need to provoke her for me. Just stand aside and watch the show." Qian Qian nodded, not noticing Mu Tongxue's expression because Mu Tongxue was sick. She had been lying in class all day, looking sickly, and did not even go to PE class. Mu Qiqi was not interested in bullying Mu Tongxue. Still, Mu Qiqi had the feeling that Mu Tongxue would not let go of the birthday banquet so easily. But what was she planning? On that day, Mama Mu personally went to school to fetch Mu Tongxue home. Mu Qiqi saw her mother from afar, but acted as if she did not know her, and simply walked past her. Now, the matter between Mu Qiqi and the Mu family would not draw too much attention from the other students. It was enough to gossip for a while. Of course, everyone would occasionally joke about the birthday banquet, since Qian Qian and the other students had taken pictures of Mu Tongxue's ugly face. But that had nothing to do with Mu Qiqi. When she got home, Mu Qiqi only thought about whether Xiao Xiao would bring her out to meet him. After all, Xiao Xiao had come to her for 2 days in a row. Still, one of those days was her birthday, and the other was Christmas. Usually, Sheng Xiao was busy and occupied most of the time. Late at night, Mu Qiqi did not see any messages from Sheng Xiao, and so sent him one. "Are you asleep?" Soon, Sheng Xiao replied, "Yes. I'm abroad." Mu Qiqi was disappointed, but at least Sheng Xiao had explained to her that he was so busy in the first place. Why would he be around her? Well, you should rest early too. With that, Mu Qiqi leaped onto her big bed, wearing the Christmas gloves Sheng Xiao had given her, and fell asleep in no time at all. Chapter 37. The night in Singapore was particularly restless. Sheng Xiao was there to deal with the counterfeits of Huangyao diamonds that had appeared in the market. At the moment, he was negotiating with the people here. Knowing that Sheng Xiao was there to cause trouble, the other party gave him whatever he wanted. As a matter of fact, the best celebrities were sent to Sheng Xiao's side. The other party could not help smiling when he saw Sheng Xiao taking out his phone while he was negotiating. Who is so important that young Master Sheng cares so much about them? Sheng Xiao gently lifted her chin and smiled wickedly. "Of course it's someone you can't compare to. Why aren't you moving aside since you know? Young Master Sheng, get lost." Sheng Xiao rejected the beauty with a single word. After that, he even had to wipe his fingers with a hot towel from the hotel, as if the woman had a virus on her chin. The other party knew that Sheng Xiao was not someone to be trifled with. At the very least, he was famous in the circle for being unmoved by force or persuasion. Since Mr. Sheng is in a hurry to hug the beauty, let's cut to the chase. I wonder, is this enough for young Master Sheng to turn a blind eye? With those words, the other party took out 2 large boxes filled with cash. Sheng Xiao smiled when he opened them. "Didn't you do your homework before coming into contact with me? I like everything except for money." The other party's face darkened at Sheng Xiao's words as he puffed on his cigar. "Mr. Sheng, do you have any room to negotiate with me?" Sheng Xiao asked curiously before rising to his feet. "What a waste of my time. Jingyan, contact the quality control department and send them the photos you took just now." The other party's face turned ashen when he realized that he had been photographed. Meanwhile, Sheng Xiao told Jingyan directly, "I'm going back home now." "But, young master, it's already midnight. I like it." He had not seen his little one for a whole day. How could he wait until tomorrow? But Jingyan finally told Sheng Xiao after contacting him for a while. "Young master, it's stormy weather. There's nothing we can do." Only then did Sheng Xiao give up and did not force it. The next morning, Mu Qiqi went to school. After all, she was about to take her college entrance exams and wanted to do well so that she would not disappoint Xiao Xiao and her aunt. However, when she walked into the school, she realized that everyone in the school was pointing at her and gossiping about her. Chi-Chi, you're finally here. Qian ran to the door, panting. Go and look at the notice board. Chi-Chi sped towards the notice board, only to find a large group of people gathered in front of her. On the notice board was the diary she had torn yesterday, pieced together with transparent glue. There were about a dozen of them, and nothing big could be seen in them. However, there was a picture of him. It was obvious that there was a him. Chi-Chi squeezed to the front and tore down all the diaries. Her most private things were plastered on the bulletin board for the entire school to admire. Chi-Chi's experience is really rich. She likes a man so openly. Is this love? Looks like you have a crush on her. Chi-Chi. Qian quickly grabbed Chi-Chi's hand, only to find that it was cold. Are you all right? Chi-Chi shook her head and crumpled the diary into a ball. She walked straight to the classroom, and when she saw Tongxue chatting happily with her classmates, she threw the ball of paper at her head. You must have been very busy with yesterday's PE class and last night, right? Sis. Tongxue's tears immediately flowed. It's not me really. You're the one who fell in love. What does it have to do with Tongxue? Why do you bully your sister for everything? The girl sitting behind Tongxue finally could not help but speak up for her. What does it have to do with you? Chi-Chi retorted. You don't think you can do whatever you want just because you have good grades. The whole school is laughing at you. Why do you still have the courage to stand here when it's so embarrassing? Chi-Chi laughed at that and pointed at herself. I'm 18. I'm an adult. Do I need your permission to like someone? Chi-Chi, don't be angry. Qian quickly held her back. She was afraid that she would beat her up. I'll find her even if I have to dig 3 feet into the ground for such an invasion of privacy. Chi-Chi, come to the office. The teacher's voice was heard from outside the classroom. The whole class watched as Chi-Chi was invited into the teacher's office. Chi-Chi, I know about the diary. Teacher, I didn't delay my studies because I like someone. Chi-Chi explained to the teacher. Moreover, it's my privacy, but something like this happened between classmates. The teacher adjusted her glasses and nodded. I know you've always worked hard to improve, but this matter has a huge impact. Teacher, I can do anything you want me to, but can you please not tell my parents? Well, you know that I'm abandoned. My aunt is my only family now, and I don't want to see her disappointed. Chi-Chi understood his feelings and moved him with reason. It was because anyone in the family would feel awkward if they knew about this. Moreover, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I call my parents? The teacher thought about it for a while and finally said, I want to make it a small matter for you. I can do nothing, but can you stand all those rumors? It was normal for people their age to like someone and who would not have a crush in puberty. The teacher knew that very well. Moreover, the matter itself was a breach of someone's privacy, which was why Chi-Chi was right. Why should she call her parents? Chi-Chi, promise me that you'll focus on your studies before you graduate? I promise.
Good.
Go back to the classroom. Chi-Chi bowed to the teacher in thanks and turned to return to the classroom. Still, she could hardly control the urge to hit Tongxue now. Are you all right, Chi-Chi? It's not a big deal, it's just a crush, and it's normal for it to pop up in school from time to time. Qian comforted Chi-Chi. Wouldn't it be over with just a few words from your parents? Who in my family can invite? Chi-Chi asked in return. That's true. However, if this matter was really done by your sister, then she must have put in a lot of effort. Chi-Chi turned to look at Tongxue. Tongxue was looking back at Chi-Chi. From what Tongxue could tell, Chi-Chi's records were all about men. But as far as she knew, Chi-Chi had a chauffeur aside from her aunt, a small mansion.
Who was she in contact with?
The matter was getting more and more interesting. Chapter 38. In fact, Chi-Chi knew very well that her aunt would soon find out if Tongxue knew about it. It was fine to be mistaken as puppy love, but she could not let others know that it was Xiao, because she did not dare to gamble. If others knew about it, what would her aunt and others think of their relationship, let alone whether Xiao would hate her? She did not want to bring trouble to Xiao. If that was the case, it was better to go home early and give her a shot in the arm. That was why the first thing Muchichi did after class was to rush home. Susie Pei was surprised to see her hugging herself as soon as she got home. What happened? Aunt Pei, actually. I have a crush on a boy in school. I wrote it down in my diary, but I didn't expect Mu Tongxue to put it on the school's bulletin board. Susie Pei was bewildered at that. Puppy love. Aunt Pei. Yes, but I have a crush on him, and we're in different classes. We didn't even touch. Susie Pei nodded. I trust you. You know what you're doing. But my secret is out there. Muchichi's eyes reddened. I really didn't expect that Mu Tongxue would go through a trash can just to humiliate me. I really can't believe that the obedient Mu Tongxue in the eyes of the Mu family is actually so vicious. Susie Pei hugged Muchichi and snorted coldly. I really want to take off her mask of hypocrisy. But it's not a big deal, Chichi. I'm afraid that you have puppy love because I don't want it to affect your studies. Since you can tell me yourself, it means that your attitude is right. Don't be afraid. I support you. Aunt Pei, you don't blame me? What I hate more now is that I don't have the ability to protect you. I can't go to school and slap that sister of yours. I'm such a bitch. Muchichi hugged Susie Pei tightly. Aunt Pei, I'm not afraid of anything as long as you believe me. That way, it would not matter even if Mu Tongxue complained. After that, Muchichi went upstairs and returned to her room. Although she had managed to hide it from Zipei, how would Xing Xiao feel when he learned that she liked a boy in school? She was carefully preserving her feelings because she knew that her love for Xing Xiao was too dangerous. Otherwise, what else could she do? On the other hand, Mu Tongxue lived up to expectations and told Mama Mu about what happened to Muchichi in school, pretending to be a bystander. Mama Mu snorted at Mu Tongxue's words. She's no longer the Muchichi she used to be, since she stepped out of the house. She's doing all sorts of bad things, learning how to seduce men at such a young age. Mommy, actually, when my sister was still at my auntie's house, I secretly went to look for her. I wanted to show some concern for her, but I heard from my auntie's neighbor that my sister had been sold by my uncle. I know. The French sponsor's lawyer told me about it. Mama Mu replied. But think about it, what kind of people does uncle know? If big sister is sold by him, can she still be innocent? Mama Mu did a double take at that. She had never thought about that before. But now, Mu Tongxue had a sudden epiphany. It's fine if we know about it, but I'm afraid that someone would expose it in the future. That's why your sister must not return to the Mu family. Mama Mu said cruelly. It would be troublesome if your father finds out about such a dirty past. As if chanting a spell, Mu Tongxue kept creating estrangement between Muchichi and her parents in front of her. The more her parents hated Muchichi, the happier she was. She would like to see what Muchichi could do now. After all, she still had Muchichi's torn diary pages. Should she post another 30 pages tomorrow? It was late at night when Xing Xiao returned to Jianchuan. Jing Yin wanted to send him home to rest, but Xing Xiao had him give him the car keys instead. As if knowing what he wanted to do, Jing Yun was powerless to stop him and could only watch as he left. When they reached the small mansion, Xing Xiao sent Muchichi a message. Come out. Muchichi suddenly didn't know how to explain the diary to Xing Xiao. She wanted to avoid it, but was afraid that Xing Xiao would misunderstand. That was why, after some hesitation, Muchichi put on a thick coat and went to their usual meeting spot when Susie Pei wasn't looking. Xing Xiao started the car, but did not go far before he wound up the window in a nearby forest. Meanwhile, Muchichi kept her head lowered, not daring to look at him. What happened? Xing Xiao immediately knew that something must have happened from Muchichi's expression. Xiao. Mu Tongxue had posted my diary on the school bulletin board. Muchichi told Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao promptly turned to look at Muchichi at that. After all, even if he didn't know how much Muchichi wrote about him, he could guess that it was quite a lot. Actually, I'm in puppy love. I like a boy in the class next door. Muchichi carefully observed Xing Xiao's eyes, but her words were very tentative. Is that so? Xing Xiao's tone was rather flat because he knew that Muchichi had to divert everyone's attention if she wanted to hide who he was. Moreover, the little one was smart enough to use he or she instead of he when she wrote her diary. He didn't seem to be angry. He didn't seem to be interested in her affairs. Xiao, actually, Mu Qiqi wanted to say it but couldn't. After all, she didn't want them to end up as strangers. Why would Mu Tongxue see it? Sheng Xiao wasn't exactly a soft-hearted person. He didn't bring the diary home in the middle of the night to hurt Mu Qiqi. I tore it and kept it in my drawer. I threw it in the trash can outside during PE class, but I didn't expect her to find the pieces. Mu Qiqi explained. So? You let her bully you? If my heart was as dark as hers, I would become her. Mu Qiqi replied. You should be fiercer than her. I admit that I don't have experience against such people, but I'll learn. Mu Qiqi promised him. Chapter 39. In fact, she had been hoping that Xing Xiao would react when he heard about it. But he didn't care if she liked someone else. Xiao, thank you for coming to see me tonight. You should go back and rest. With that, Mu Qiqi turned and tried to get out of the car, only to be held back by Xing Xiao. Did I say you can go now? Is there anything else? Mu Qiqi asked in return. Do you remember that you promised me that you wouldn't have puppy love in school? Xing Xiao suddenly began to dig up old scores. Does that count as breaking your promise now? Xiao. People who lie to me usually don't end up well. With that, Xing Xiao accelerated the car and left the small mansion with Mu Qiqi. Thinking that Xing Xiao was angry, Mu Qiqi quickly explained, Xiao, I really didn't do it on purpose. Don't be mad. Ignoring her, Xing Xiao drove at full speed and soon reached the gates of Eton. Then, he parked the car at a corner nearby, where he could clearly see the gates of Eton. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He simply hooked his arm around Mu Qiqi's chin and said to her, You might have to sleep with me here tonight. Mu Qiqi blushed, but she didn't understand what he meant. Moreover, is the person you like really someone from the university? Xing Xiao asked teasingly. I thought you liked someone else all along. Mu Qiqi stared at Xing Xiao, not daring to move a muscle. Xing Xiao had used all his strength. Mu Qiqi felt wronged, but she didn't dare to say who she liked out loud because it would put Xing Xiao in a difficult position. Xing Xiao saw the tears in Mu Qiqi's eyes and suddenly approached her cheek and kissed the tip of her nose. Why are you crying, little one? Though the kiss was as light as a goose feather, Mu Qiqi's heart was suddenly brimming with strength. Blushing, she mustered her courage and asked, Xiao, do you know that I stop talking and come closer? Xing Xiao did not let her ask further. He just held her hands and put them in his pocket. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao up close, fascinated by his uncanny workmanship. It's hard for me not to notice the way you look at me, the way you want to eat me up. Mu Qiqi suddenly smiled, but sighed in the next second. Do you know how worried I was that you would misunderstand? Do you think my IQ is as stupid as yours? Mu Qiqi's heart was suddenly at ease. It turned out that Xiao knew everything. Moreover, Xing Xiao did not reject her, and was willing to be so close to her. Was she dreaming? Don't think too much nonsense in your head, and don't make any unfounded assumptions. If there's anything, no matter how big or small, tell me immediately, got it? Mu Qiqi's hands and heart warmed up. She nodded repeatedly. Still, are we here to ambush Mu Tongxue? Xing Xiao was a little tired, and his voice was hoarse. Putting down his seat, he leaned backwards. There are no surveillance cameras in Eton's classrooms because the parents asked for their children's privacy. Otherwise, do you think Mu Tongxue would be that stupid? If she could put something on the notice board without anyone knowing, that means she must be the first to come to school. Also, do you think she'll let it go after humiliating you this time? If you want to catch her in the act. In fact, the most important thing was to find an excuse to stay with the little one. Although they did not make things clear just now, Mu Qiqi knew that Xing Xiao was aware that she had feelings for him and that he did not reject her. Xing Xiao did not want to hurt the little one, but he did not want to expose their relationship right now. She was still young. Xiao, you can sleep if you're tired. I'll watch. It's your business in the first place. Of course you'll watch. With that, Sheng Xiao closed his eyes, though there was a faint smile on his lips. Mu Qiqi watched Sheng Xiao's sleeping face in satisfaction. She was willing to do anything with the person she liked by her side, which was why she kept staring at the school gates. Eden's gates opened at 5:50. 3 minutes later, Mu Qiqi saw Mu Tongshue's figure darting into the campus. Stay in the car. Sheng Xiao quickly told Mu Qiqi. Let Jing Yun go. Where's Assistant Jing? Mu Qiqi did a double take. Why didn't she see him? He's been on standby for half an hour. With those words, Sheng Xiao honked, and Mu Qiqi saw a figure follow him. Why don't you go home and rest, since Assistant Jing is already here? Mind your own business. Sheng Xiao did not know what it felt like to see his own sister set him up, but surely it would not feel good. This time, Mu Tongxue was even worse. There was no telling if she should be praised for her skills or her patience. It was not easy for her to put the broken pieces back together. Of course, Mu Tongxue learned about Mu Qiqi's hatred for the Mu family after reading the diary. Still, she kept that part for her parents to enjoy and pretended to be innocent by saying that she tore it from the school bulletin board. As for the hymn that Mu Qiqi mentioned, he was definitely not simple. He helped her and had been bringing her out for the last few days. Mu Qiqi's diary did not contain detailed content, since it was too hard to organize. Even so, it was not hard to tell that the man had given her a pen, a phone, hair accessories, and snatched a dress for her. Could it be that Mu Qiqi was a sugar daddy? Mu Tongxue became even more curious about the man's identity at the very thought. Of course, she did not notice that Jing Yun was recording everything with his phone not far from her when she was publicizing these things. Jing Yun's recording would end when Mu Tongxue left. Then, he returned to the car and handed the video to Sheng Xiao. There's going to be a good show. Sheng Xiao gestured at Jing Yun with a finger after he finished watching the video. It was only when Jing Yun came closer that he instructed him, all without letting Mu Qiqi hear it. Mu Qiqi did not deliberately ask. After all, she was not afraid of anything as long as Sheng Xiao was beside her. But after giving Jing Yun his instructions, Sheng Xiao hooked his arm around Mu Qiqi's neck and told her, learn a little about the show later and pay that bitch back 100 times. Chapter 40. Then, he sent Mu Qiqi back to the little mansion. While Susie Pei was making breakfast in the kitchen, Mu Qiqi quickly returned to her room, changed into her uniform, and went downstairs, pretending that she did not leave the house last night. Susie Pei did not suspect anything and beamed at Mu Qiqi, telling her to hurry up and eat because she would be late for school. Mu Qiqi was not aware of Xiaoxiao's plan and was very nervous and expectant at the same time. She wanted to see how Mu Tongxue would end up. Soon, Mu Qiqi arrived at school, which was bustling as usual. Qian was still waiting for Mu Qiqi at the school gates, but unlike yesterday's anxiousness, her expression was clearly excited. Qiqi, you're finally here. What happened this time? Mu Qiqi asked, even though she already knew the answer. Come, look at this. Qian pulled Mu Qiqi to the notice board and showed it to her. I don't know which kind-hearted person took a picture of this scheming bitch pasting your diary. It's now on the notice board, the school forum, and even Van Gogh's forum. Tisk, TSK. It's high definition and completely uncensored. Qian looked delighted. And look. Qian pulled Mu Qiqi to the other side of the notice board and pointed at a large poster. That kind-hearted person left this behind. Mu Qiqi was delighted when she looked at it because the content was very interesting. This is Mu Tongxue. She posted her sister's diary and pretended to be a White Lotus. Please don't hesitate to call her White Lotus Mu. Isn't she a White Lotus? She would even frame her own sister. It's disgusting to expose someone else's privacy. We'll call her White Lotus Mu from now on. The surrounding students all expressed their opinions. It seemed that Mu Tongxue was going to suffer in school for a while. In the end, Qian even told Mu Qiqi craftily, I'm telling you, that White Lotus hasn't arrived at school yet. She arrived at school so early and left after doing something bad. In order not to arouse suspicion, she had to be the last to arrive at school. That way, no one would suspect her of posting her diary on the notice board. It was a pity that Mu Tongshue's little thought had smashed her own foot with a rock. Mu Qiqi remained calm and returned to the classroom with Qian. It was only when it was almost time for the morning class that Mu Tongxue arrived. "Sorry, I'm late." Mu Tongxue stood at the door of the classroom, panting. Her body was so weak that she looked like she would faint at any moment. The teacher didn't want to see anyone from the Mujia, so she said to her directly,
"Come in."
"But Tongxue, come to the office after the morning class." "I understand, teacher." Mu Tongxue looked at Mu Qiqi. The diary posted on the bulletin board today should have been even more explosive. Why was Mu Qiqi not bothering her? Moreover, why were the gazes of the others looking at her a little different? Mu Tongxue couldn't care less about that, and focused on her morning class. Still, when the bell rang, the classmate who had helped Mu Tongxue yesterday stood up and told her, "You're quite a bitch, actually." Mu Tongxue was stunned. No one had dared to scold her like that, but she still pretended to be weak. "Did I unintentionally upset you? I even spoke up for you yesterday." I thought that Mu Qiqi was always so arrogant that it was normal for her to be taught a lesson. "I thought that you were framed, but I didn't expect that you really were the one who posted Mu Qiqi's diary." "What are you talking about? I don't understand." Mu Tongxue quickly denied it. "Has this guy not seen the wonderful pictures on the bulletin board yet?" Some students immediately teased. Of course. Why else would she deny it so shamelessly? "What are you all talking about? I have nothing to do with my sister, I swear. Stop looking at us with those white lotus eyes of yours." "I'm scared." "White Lotus Mu, that's what the entire school calls you now. You're really something, going out of your way to frame your own sister. I'm going to tell the teacher if you keep talking nonsense." Mu Tongxue was panicking inside, but she kept her composure. Seeing that she was still putting on an act, her classmates promptly pasted the picture on the bulletin board on the blackboard. "White Lotus Mu, did you see it?" Mu Tongshue's face paled at once. Where did this come from? Mu Tongxue quickly went up to snatch it, only to be told that there are plenty of them on the bulletin board. There's even a high-definition and censored video. "Do you want to see it?" Mu Tongxue took 2 steps back, her face pale. Then, she walked up to Mu Qiqi and said, "Sis, you don't have to pretend to be me even if you want to take revenge on me, do you?" Mu Qiqi said nothing, but Qian did. "Please take a good look. The difference between you and Mu Qiqi is that you don't have a mole on your nose, but Mu Qiqi does. And it's obvious in the video. I have to say the other party's phone is really not bad." Mu Qiqi had already taught us how to differentiate you two sisters, and yet you're still pretending. Mu Tongxue had nothing to say. She did not expect that Mu Qiqi had made such preparations beforehand. "White Lotus Mu, if I were you, I would crawl into a hole in the ground. Furthermore, it's not just the notice board. Even our school's forum, as well as Van Gogh's school's website, have been shocked by your astonishing actions." Mu Tongshue's hands were shaking. She quickly took out her phone, but could not hold it steady. "That's what you get for playing tricks on me. Listen up, class. Keep an eye out for this vicious student, White Lotus Mu." Mu Tongshue's hands clenched into fists at the mention of White Lotus Mu. But there was nothing she could do, because none of them expected such a turn of events. Now, the entire class hated her, just as Mu Qiqi had been hated by everyone before. "White Lotus Mu! White Lotus Mu!" The more the students shouted, the louder they became. The teacher followed them to the classroom and told everyone, "Stop it. And Mu Tongxue, come to my office."
"I don't want to say it a second time."
Mu Tongshue's eyes flashed, and she fled the classroom as fast as she could to the teacher's office.
"Ha ha ha.
That White Lotus is finally exposed. How delightful." After all, Qian treated Mu Qiqi as a good friend, and she would certainly protest when her friend was bullied. Meanwhile, Mu Qiqi's expression was complicated as she watched Mu Tongxue leave. She had a feeling that the teacher would call her into the teacher's office. Of course, it was all prepared by Xiao, and she had yet to go on stage. Chapter 41. Mu Tongxue started sobbing when she reached the office. She looked so lovely that anyone who saw it would feel sorry for her. Still, the teacher did not dare to play along. Don't cry in front of me, Tongxue. Tell me, what's with the photos outside? Teacher, I'm being framed. My sister pretended to be me and deliberately posted the photos to make everyone misunderstand. She was really good at sophistry. Teacher, you know that I've always respected my sister. This really has nothing to do with me. I'm being framed. Mu Tongxue even coughed a few times as she explained, as if afraid that others would not know how delicate she was. The teacher smiled faintly and said, Tongxue, actually, I overheard your conversation with your mother when you fainted in the hospital. Mu Tongxue did a double take. She did not realize that the teacher had overheard that and soon remembered lying on the sickbed and complaining to Mama Mu that Mu Qiqi had hit her head. Mu Tongxue blushed at once. She could not say a word and could only lower her head. I don't know why you would treat your sister like that, but we must get a parent. Mu Tongxue quickly grabbed her teacher's arm and begged, Teacher, I beg you, don't tell my parents. I'll ask my sister to forgive me. I'll ask her not to tell my parents. Please don't tell my parents. With your character, it's not just a simple prank. No, we must inform the parents of this matter, the teacher said firmly. Teacher, you're going to hurt my sister if you do that. You might not know that my sister is a murderer, right? In her panic, Mu Tongxue suddenly revealed the matter to her teacher. Still, her teacher was not surprised when he heard it. After all, she had heard about it from Mu Qiqi. Still, she did not expect that Mu Tongxue would be so vicious at such a young age. She had underestimated the intelligence and ability of children nowadays. After a pause, the teacher called her to her office, just as Mu Qiqi expected. Mu Qiqi followed her into the office. She knew that Mu Tongxue was having a hard time when she saw her pale face. So, she asked her teacher, Teacher, why are you looking for me? Sis, I really didn't post your diary. You just wanted me to take the blame for you, so you pretended to be me and posted the diary, right? Was Mu Tongxue's words even a question? He didn't even beg for mercy. Instead, he was still as domineering as ever. How annoying. No, it's you, Mu Qiqi said. Sister, aren't you afraid that You call me a murderer? Mu Qiqi looked at Mu Tongxue teasingly, before turning to look at her as coldly as she could. Why don't you go out and tell them? Do you think they trust me more or you? Mom and Dad said you, but you don't have proof and neither do they. It's reasonable for me to say that you're framing me. Moreover, with that, Mu Qiqi approached Mu Tongxue, glaring at her fiercely. If you spread the news that the daughter of the Mu family killed her own grandmother, do you think Dad would let you off when the Mu family stock price plummets? Don't be the second person to be chased out of the Mu family. Mu Tongxue, do you think I'm still the same cowardly Mu Qiqi? Whatever humiliation I suffered in the past, you will return it 100-fold today. You just want to threaten me, but you can't stop it. Right now, the entire school has a pair of eyes that hate you. Mu Tongxue kept retreating, but was forced into a corner by Mu Qiqi. Even so, she really didn't expect that Mu Qiqi could really become so fierce. Don't cross the line, Qiqi. The teacher reminded her lovingly. As for Tongxue, I want to see your parents this afternoon. Seeing that Mu Qiqi wasn't threatened, Mu Tongxue could only give in. She would never let the Mu family know what she did in school. That was why she dropped to her knees in front of Mu Qiqi and the teacher. I'm begging you. Begging? Mu Qiqi said the word in amusement, ignoring Mu Tongxue. You just want to maintain your image as a kind little angel in your family. Why should I do as you wish? Mu Tongxue, I'm looking forward to you being chased out of the family. With those words, Mu Qiqi left the office, and the teacher quickly helped Mu Tongxue up. She wouldn't be able to bear the consequences if the girl fainted again. Tongxue, it's not that I have to do this, but the repercussions are too great. That's why I'll ask your parents to come in the afternoon. As for you, apologize to Mu Qiqi in front of the whole school. Perhaps everyone would forgive you that way, since it's a great thing to learn from your mistakes. Mu Tongxue's face darkened. It seemed that she couldn't avoid asking her parents to come. Still, what could she do to convince Mama Mu that Mu Chi-Chi had set her up? All right, there's nothing else. Go back to class, and let me know if you need my protection. Mu Tongxue returned to class distractedly. Even so, who would dare to approach her now? She was a person who had set her own sister up, let alone her classmates who weren't even related by blood. During class, Mu Chi-Chi turned to look at Mu Tongxue, her eyes meaningful. After all, how had she survived back then? And now Mu Tongxue was enjoying it. Feng Shui had finally turned around. Chi-Chi, what were you two talking about in the office just now? Qian asked Mu Chi-Chi curiously. Look at your sister. It's as if you and the teacher bullied her. Would she jump off the building later? I'm telling you, I have to warn her. My family invested in this building, so don't dirty my turf. Mu Chi-Chi couldn't help chuckling at Qian's words. You're so talkative. She was begging me on her knees just now, but I didn't agree. You'd have to be out of your mind to agree to someone like that. Qian rolled her eyes. It's lucky that everyone is graduating, or she'd be in trouble at Eton. Mu Chi-Chi looked at Mu Tongxue again and said nothing. After all, she was now curious what Mu Tongxue would do to keep her kind nature and stop Mama Mu from coming to school. That would be interesting. Moreover, didn't Mu Chi-Chi think that she was deceiving herself? Now that her mask of hypocrisy was about to fall off, why couldn't she show her true colors? Mu Chi-Chi sneered. Still, that was none of her business, and she was more willing to spend her time with Sheng Xiao. Chapter 42. Mama Mu arrived at Eton on time that afternoon. She was not aware of the commotion Mu Tongxue had caused, and was still under the impression that her classmates adored her daughter. When Mu Tongxue saw that she could not stop Mama Mu, she went to the top floor of Eton during break, and even climbed over the fence. Some of her classmates saw her dangerous move and quickly reported it to the teacher. In no time at all, the news of someone jumping off a building spread throughout the school. Mu Tongxue appeared to be in despair. She simply stood on the top floor, as if she was the one being bullied, and did such a thing when she could no longer hold back. Mama Mu was already on her way to Eton when she heard from the teacher that Mu Tongxue wanted to kill herself. Mama Mu promptly sped up and rushed to Eton, her heart burning with anxiety. By then, the school had already called the police, and the police were there to comfort and provide aid. Heavens, my dear Shui. Unable to hold back any longer, Mama Mu went to the top floor after getting permission from the police. Daughter, what are you doing?
She quickly asked.
Come here, Mommy's here, come to Mommy. Mommy. Mu Tongxue's body softened at once when she saw Mama Mu. That was when the police picked her up and put her on the floor, and Mama Mu quickly hugged her. Silly girl, what are you doing? How could you scare Mommy like that? Many people were watching from below, but Mu Tongxue was soon sent to the hospital. Mu Chi-Chi was one of the spectators, and couldn't help smiling at the sight. With that, Mama Mu no longer had the mood to care about Mu Tongxue's actions in school. All she wanted to know was who had forced her daughter to the extent that she wanted to jump off a building. Qian tugged at Mu Chi-Chi's arm and made a shivering gesture. Your sister is a god. With her acting skills, she would definitely win national awards if she were to become an actress. Do you think that's all she's capable of? Mu Chi-Chi sneered. She knows a lot more. Still, that was none of her business. It was fine as long as the whole school knew how embarrassing Mu Tongxue was. By the way, who is the boy you have a crush on? Qian suddenly turned her gaze to Mu Chi-Chi's exposed diary. I've never seen you following any boy. I can't tell you about this, Mu Chi-Chi said mysteriously and went back to the classroom with Qian. Be that as it may, the classroom was gloomy in the afternoon. Perhaps everyone thought that Mu Tongxue had turned the entire class into a mess after her arrival and was now famous throughout the school. Chi-Chi, tell us, who is it that you like? Have you ever confessed? Hearing Qian's question, Mu Chi-Chi shook her head. I can't say it.
How can we do that?
Now, it's the girls who take the initiative. Think about it. An outstanding man is also worth fighting for, okay? Did you kiss? Mu Qiqi shook her head and asked, how do you know so much? Because I've already given away my first kiss. It feels really good. It's soft, like eating jelly. Mu Qiqi suddenly thought of Sheng Zhao's handsome face and his alluring lips. If only she could kiss him. You're blushing. You're blushing. Qian exposed Mu Qiqi. You must be thinking about those unhealthy things in your head. Mu Qiqi did not answer because her lecturer had come in. Still, she was not in a good mood because of what happened to Mu Tongxue. She simply gave everyone a task. It was time for them to set a goal for themselves. Mu Qiqi remembered the Sheng family's diamond business, and she wanted to help Sheng Xiao in the future. That was why she wanted to get into a design school. Would Xiao Xiao like it? Mu Qiqi remembered his lips when she thought of Sheng Xiao, as well as what Qian said about the taste of kissing. What would it be like? After Mu Tongxue was sent to the hospital, she had a full-body checkup. The doctor assured Mama Mu that Mu Tongxue was just overwhelmed with grief and would wake up soon. Mama Mu could not think of anyone else who could force Mu Tongxue to stand on the top floor of a school where Mu Qiqi was. It must have been Mu Qiqi's doing. That was why she was shaking with rage. She really did not expect that Mu Qiqi could be so vicious even though they were both her children. Before Mu Tongxue could wake up, Mama Mu went straight to Eton and found their lecturer, scolding her right in her face. How long has it been? My daughter has been hospitalized several times. Don't you have any responsibility as a teacher? The lecturer felt a headache at the sight of Mama Mu. It was one thing for Mu Tongxue to be a drama queen, but she was being led around by the nose by her own daughter. Could you calm down, Mama? How could I calm down? It's not your daughter standing on top. You don't feel bad, do you? Mama Mu retorted, pointing a finger at the lecturer's nose. Is this how Eton, the best school, treats its students? Dear parent, if you spoil your child too much, you will only end up harming him. If you think that I have treated your child inappropriately, you can go to the school board and complain about me. But right now, I don't want to talk to you. What about Mu Qiqi? What about Mu Qiqi? Mama Mu asked. Mu Qiqi's home. She's out of school. Mama Mu would not let it go, and promptly called Suzy Pei. Bring Mu Qiqi out. I want to see her and ask her a few things. Suzy Pei glanced at her phone and replied seriously, You've got the wrong number. Then, she blocked Mama Mu's number. It was only when Mu Qiqi reached home that Suzy Pei asked her, Did you get into trouble again today? The Mu family's phone calls are all coming to me. Mu Qiqi told Suzy Pei about what happened in school today, but Suzy Pei shook her head after hearing it. I always thought that Mu Tongxue was just a smart aleck, but now I think that she's really heartless. It's fortunate that our Mu Qiqi has a kind person to protect her. Mu Qiqi said nothing, and went to her room after dinner. She would study how to make cufflinks, draw the blueprints, and ask a craftsman for help on the weekend. Mu Qiqi was so focused on her design that she did not even see Sheng Zhao's message. When she saw the sentence, it was already an hour later. Startled, Mu Qiqi quickly jumped out of her chair, put on her clothes, and went downstairs. However, she did not see Sheng Zhao's car when she arrived at their usual meeting place. Had Xiao Xiao left? At that thought, Mu Qiqi quickly called Sheng Xiao to explain, but her phone was taken away from her just as the call went through. Mu Qiqi turned to find Sheng Xiao standing behind her. Xiao Xiao, why did you take so long to come out? Sheng Xiao took her hand and led her into the woods. I was doing my homework, Mu Qiqi quickly said. Chapter 43. Of course it's more important to see you. I just didn't see you, Mu Qiqi said honestly. Sheng Xiao sneered and led her to a warm car. Mu Qiqi was sitting among them. She tilted her head to look at Sheng Zhao's handsome face. At that moment, her heart was beating wildly. She recalled Qian's words. She wanted to try kissing Sheng Xiao too, but she did not dare to. Did you learn anything today? Sheng Xiao already knew about Mu Tongxue's performance on the top floor of the school, and that she was now being spurned by the entire school. Yes. How would I dare not remember what you taught me? Mu Qiqi answered obediently. Good girl. Where are we going tonight? Mu Qiqi couldn't help asking as she watched Sheng Xiao drive. Looks like we're going far. Jianchuan was a place where they could move around if they wanted to protect Mu Qiqi, so that no one would know. Sheng Xiao had no particular place to go at the moment. He simply wanted to take Mu Qiqi away from familiar faces and be alone with her, such as sleeping in the car last night. But halfway there, Mu Qiqi received a call from Su Zipei. Qiqi, it's so late. Where are you? There's no one in the room. Mu Qiqi looked at Sheng Xiao in panic, because Su Zipei rarely came to her after she went to bed. Mu Qiqi paused and quickly answered, Aunt Zipei, I'm hungry from studying, so I came out to buy something to eat. Buy what? Don't we have some at home? I want to eat outside, alright. Come back quickly, and don't stay out for too long. With that, Su Zipei hung up, while Mu Qiqi looked a little disappointed. Xiao Xiao, I can't go out with you tonight. I have to hurry home, or Aunt Zipei would find out. There's a supermarket nearby. Let's buy something. Sheng Xiao parked the car in front of the supermarket and had Mu Qiqi buy a bunch of snacks. However, on the way back, both of them had grave expressions on their faces. How long could such a relationship last? If others knew that she liked him, what would she do in the future? Xiao Xiao. I feel guilty. Sheng Xiao did not say anything. As the crown prince of Huangyao, he had always gotten what he wanted and did whatever he wanted. He had never encountered such a situation where it was wishful thinking to bring his little one out to play, because he had to consider that Mu Qiqi was still immature. Soon, the car drove into the little mansion, and Mu Qiqi had Sheng Xiao stop the car at the entrance so that Su Zipei would not catch them.
Good night, Xiao Xiao.
Sheng Xiao stopped the car and grabbed Mu Qiqi's arm. When she turned around, he pinched her chin and kissed her. No, to be more accurate, it was biting. Mu Qiqi felt pain in her lips. She wanted to struggle, but Sheng Xiao didn't let her. Still, he released her just 3 seconds later. Even so, she could feel that he was holding back his anger. Damn Qianqian, who said that kissing was like eating jelly. Since you dragged me down to hell, don't run away alone. Mu Qiqi's entire body shuddered at those words. She sensed danger, as well as the emotions that were about to burst out of her chest. She probably didn't even know how much she liked Sheng Xiao. Mu Qiqi got out of the car with the snacks and watched as Sheng Xiao left. When she got home, she couldn't help being nagged by Su Zipei. Tell me what you want to eat and I'll buy it for you. Don't go out alone. It's dangerous for a girl.
I know, Aunt Zipei.
Mu Qiqi felt a deep sense of guilt. Her aunt had been so good to her, but she couldn't say a word about Sheng Xiao no matter what. She was afraid that her aunt would be disappointed in her. She could promise her aunt anything, but Sheng Xiao was her own secret. She would keep it in her heart, even if Sheng Xiao were to marry another rich young lady one day. Mu Qiqi put down the snacks when she returned to her room and texted Sheng Xiao. Xiao Xiao, I want to learn design. Sheng Xiao returned home and washed up when he saw the message and promptly replied, Why? Because I want to be closer to you. Sheng Xiao was aware that Mu Qiqi was better at math, physics, and chemistry. She could have studied science and engineering, but she was willing to learn design for him, not caring if she liked it or not.
No.
Why? Mu Qiqi asked in return. There are enough designers in Huangyao. You won't make a difference. Mu Qiqi was hurt, but Sheng Xiao was telling the truth. Those who designed jewelry for Huangyao were all international masters. How many years would a small fry like her have to work her way up to the top? Even so, she really wanted to be closer to Sheng Xiao. Moreover, Mu Qiqi touched her bitten lip when she remembered that kiss. Qianqian was such a liar. Late at night, Papa Mu rushed to the hospital when he learned that Mu Tongxue had almost jumped off a building at school. Mu Tongxue had just fallen asleep, and Mama Mu was watching over her. Papa Mu immediately attacked his wife when he saw his daughter. How are you taking care of Xue? Why is she always in the hospital? Honey, Tongshue's because of Mu Qiqi's revenge. Did you know? Xue is being bullied at all and eaten. Mama Mu pushed the blame to Mu Qiqi. She even went to another family, but She wouldn't let Tangxue go. We don't owe her anything. What can we do? Mu Qiqi's guardianship isn't in our hands now. Papa Mu retorted angrily. Isn't it all because of you? You didn't teach the child well, and now she's going against us everywhere. What now? Are we just going to let her continue like this? I had Shui, or go to Eton to keep an eye on Mu Qiqi and stop her from stirring up trouble. I didn't expect her to get worse. Let me know when Shui wakes up, and I'll tell her what to do. With that, Papa Mu left his wife at the hospital while he returned home to wash up and rest. Papa Mu was an absolute chauvinist. In this family, everyone had to obey him. That was why Mama Mu and Mu Tangxue couldn't be blamed for being afraid of him. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi hated him more than anything else. Still, just as Papa Mu was about to leave, Mu Tangxue opened her eyes and shouted, "Daddy, sis, someone's keeping her." What did you say? Papa Mu stared at Mu Tangxue in shock, asking her in disbelief. Chapter 44. Hubby, if it's true and someone else finds out about it, how would we face the Mu family in the future? Mama Mu quickly said. It's too embarrassing. Mama Mu's first reaction was not to worry about her daughter's safety, but the embarrassment. Papa Mu snorted coldly. So, you know how embarrassing it is. There's no other way but to send Mu Qiqi abroad. That way, no one would know even if she dies there. But why would she listen to us? Mama Mu asked. Mu Qiqi is now with someone else. She's so arrogant. Does she even respect us as her parents? Go find her and tell her that we'll allow her to return to the Mu family. She'll be the young lady of the Mu family just like before, and I won't scold or beat her as long as she agrees to leave the country. Papa Mu ordered. Let her return to the Mu family. That's the most I can do for her. Don't push your luck.
All right.
I'll go find her when she recovers. Papa Mu's tone made it seem as if he was giving Mu Qiqi a great gift. He was Mu Tangxue's father after all. In his heart, he probably believed that Mu Qiqi wanted to return to the Mu family. After all, the French tycoon was only sponsoring her and not supporting her for life. It was only by returning to the Mu family that she could enjoy the treatment of a rich young lady and not have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of her life. That confidence made Mu Qiqi's stand last time a waste. That was why Papa Mu believed that it was the greatest concession he could make for Mu Qiqi. She should not have been accepted into the Mu family after killing her grandmother. But to prevent Mu Qiqi from making more headlines, Papa Mu finally made that difficult decision. Don't be afraid, dear. Mu Qiqi might be back, but your father is sending her abroad. She won't bully you anymore. Mu Tangshue's eyes welled with tears. She hugged Mama Mu and sobbed softly. Mommy, you're the best. But they would never have thought that their arrogance was a laughable suggestion to Mu Qiqi. She had said before that she would never return to the Mu family. She wasn't joking. That was why Mama Mu drove her car early next morning and waited outside the little mansion. When she saw Old Lin and Mu Qiqi's car, she quickly stopped them. After all, they had met a few times, and she remembered Old Lin's car very clearly. When Old Lin saw Mama Mu, he quickly asked, Miss Qiqi, ignore him. Let's go. Mu Qiqi didn't want to talk to Mama Mu at all. Moreover, she could guess that Mama Mu was looking for her because of Mu Tangshue's suicide yesterday.
All right.
Old Lin nodded and was about to speed up to avoid them when Mama Mu got out of the car and stood in front of the car, arms outstretched. Miss Qiqi, forget it, Uncle Lin. Could you please ask my aunt to come over? Mu Qiqi said. She was curious to know what Mama Mu was up to today anyway. Uncle Lin, it's fine. If it was just a battle of tongues, she wouldn't have the time to argue with her. However, before Su Zipei came out, Mu Qiqi did not want to talk to Mama Mu at all. She sat in the car with the windows tightly shut. Soon, Su Zipei came out of the little mansion. She was furious when she saw her sister. Madam Mu, I've made my stance very clear. I hope that you won't show up at the little mansion again.
I don't want to show up either.
But ask yourself, Zipei, have you taken good care of Mu Qiqi? Do you know that she's a sugar daddy? Or are you using Chi-Chi to earn this dirty money? Su Zipei replied angrily at Mamamoo words. Watch your mouth. You don't know that Mu Chi-Chi is a sugar daddy? Mu Chi-Chi finally rolled down the window when she heard the two arguing outside the car. Did your precious daughter tell you that again? She said she saw your diary with her own eyes. A man always gives you presents and takes you out at night. Nonsense. Su Zipei quickly retorted. Mu Chi-Chi goes to bed at 9 every night without exception. Isn't Mu Tongxue afraid of being struck by lightning for saying that? Forget it. I can't argue with you. I'm here today to tell you good news. Mama Mu cut Su Zipei short and told her that she was here to convey Papa Mu's decision. Your brother-in-law has decided to let Mu Chi-Chi return to the Mu family and send her abroad to study. Good news? Su Zipei laughed. Who would that be good news for? Don't push your luck, Zipei. Mu Chi-Chi would still be the young lady of the Mu family. She wouldn't have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of her life. Why wouldn't she be willing? Isn't she doing so much just to return to the Mu family? At that, Su Zipei and Mu Chi-Chi shared a look and smiled. Where does the Mu family get their confidence from? Su Zipei asked Mama Mu in return. We've never expressed our desire to go back to the Mu family. You don't want to? Look at Mu Chi-Chi. She's living in a mansion, eating delicacies from the mountains, using branded goods, followed by a car at all times, and the principal would personally welcome her when she enters a prestigious school. Isn't that better than the Mu family? Everything she eats and wears is better than Mu Tongshue's. Go back. Stop dreaming, all right? Mama Mu glanced at Mu Chi-Chi, and then at Su Zipei. Even Su Zipei was no longer the poor girl she used to be, and was now beautiful and noble. That was something she could not deny. Auntie Mu, you're probably worried about Mu Tongxue jumping off a building, aren't you? I know it hurts you, but do you know why she did it? It was because she posted my diary, but someone else recorded it and put it on the bulletin board. Invading someone else's privacy is the most shameful thing, and that's why the entire school hates her. Ask yourself, who doesn't hate her now? He even gave her a name, White Lotus Mu. Of course, I'm guessing that you think I'm the one who framed her. Still, it doesn't matter if you're lying to yourself. It's fine as long as others know the truth. Auntie Mu, how kind your daughter is. You should go to school and ask her about it. I'm warning you, don't even think about me. I wouldn't even bother wasting my time on her if Mu Tongxue didn't provoke me on her own. Moreover, I'm not a sugar daddy. If you believe your daughter's nonsense without looking at the evidence, she'll make you suffer beyond words one day. Just wait and see if you don't believe me. With that, Mu Chi-Chi closed the window. Uncle Lin, please speed up. I'm going to be late. Meanwhile, Su Zipei was too lazy to argue with Mama Mu. You can move your car if there's nothing else. We know how to move to the side and not get in other people's way. Are you worse than a child? Mama Mu was left stunned by Mu Chi-Chi's words. Chapter 45. Still, Mu Chi-Chi made it sound like it was real. Didn't she say that she could just ask in school? Since she was already out, she might as well go to Eton. Hence, Mama Mu drove to the gates of Eton, just as students were rushing to school from all directions. Mama Mu promptly grabbed a student who was walking and asked, Do you know Mu Tongxue? White Lotus Mu. Who doesn't know her in school now? Isn't it disgusting to put her sister's diary on the bulletin board? The other party was a bespectacled little Prince Charming, but he had a comprehensive grasp of the school's gossip. Mu Chi-Chi didn't set her up. The video of White Lotus Mu posting her sister's diary was recorded. What else is there to say? Who are you? Stop asking so many questions. The little boy was very impatient. He pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose and rolled his eyes at Mama Mu before leaving. Unsatisfied, Mama Mu grabbed another girl and asked, May I ask you something? Do you know Mu Tongxue? Yes, White Lotus Mu. Everyone in school has the right to punish her. Didn't she try to kill herself yesterday? How embarrassing. Mama Mu was stunned when she heard that. After all, Mu Tongxue had always been an excellent student in the eyes of others, and it was the first time she heard someone say that Mu Tongxue was an embarrassment. Embarrassment, as it turned out. Shui was not forced to jump off a building because Mu Qiqi bullied her. Instead, it was because she was embarrassed that she posted Mu Qiqi's diary on the bulletin board. But Mu Tongxue did not tell her that yesterday. And when she went to school and scolded the teacher, she did not even hear what happened. For some reason, Mama Mu suddenly felt complicated. That was why she called her husband. Papa Mu answered the call impatiently.
I'm at work now.
Can you not bother me with these trivial things? Can't you handle something as simple as sending Mu Qiqi abroad? Mama Mu felt wronged, but she was used to it. Hence, she told her father everything that happened in the morning. Papa Mu was left stunned once more. After all, Mu Tongxue had always been obedient and sensible and would never scheme like that. Even so, Mama Mu had gotten a video of Mu Tongxue posting her diary. Papa Mu was furious when he heard that. What a disgrace. How dare you jump off a building? Hubby, Shui, I definitely didn't do it on purpose. You know she's been very sensible since she was young. What about Mu Qiqi? Is she willing to leave? I've talked to Zipei and Mu Qiqi. Both of them are living comfortably in the small villa. They don't want to return to the Mu family at all. Little bastard, you don't even recognize your own ancestors. With that, Papa Mu hung up and told his assistant, call Eton right now and confirm if Shui has caused a huge commotion in Eton. The assistant nodded and immediately did as he was told. Soon he received an answer from the school. President Mu, Mississippi. Mu is now being spurned by the whole school because she posted her sister's diary. What a disgrace. This is simply too embarrassing. Furious, Papa Mu rushed to the hospital to visit Mu Tongxue after work. Mu Tongxue thought that Papa Mu would succeed in getting Mu Qiqi to leave Jianchuan, but Papa Mu was glaring at her in particular. She had seen that look before, but it was usually directed at Mu Qiqi. But now Mu Tongxue was a little afraid. She had never seen her father looking at her like that. Dad, isn't it enough for one of you to embarrass me in school? You had to join in the fun too, didn't you? Papa Mu grabbed Mu Tongxue and dragged her out of bed. If you can post your sister's diary, why can't you stop others from taking a picture? Mu Tongxue's eyes widened at that. Dad, are you happy now that the whole school is calling you a white lotus? The Mu family is completely humiliated now. Papa Mu bellowed. I work hard every day, but the few of you are throwing away all my dignity. Mu Tongxue was shocked. She was truly terrified this time. Papa Mu had never been so angry at her before. Mu Qiqi would be happy if she could see it, since what Mu Tongxue was enduring now was her past. Don't cry. Mama Mu arrived at the hospital just then. She quickly comforted him when she saw Mu Tongxue being scolded. Husband, it's my first time even if I did something wrong. Don't blame me too much. Shui, you have to redeem the school's reputation yourself. Don't expect me to be happy otherwise. With that, Papa Mu left the ward. It was the first time Mu Tongxue felt that it was good to be Mu Qiqi's scapegoat. In the past, she would stand aside and watch as Mu Qiqi was scolded. Now that Mu Qiqi was gone, Papa Mu was venting his anger on her instead. She could not afford to make any mistakes. Mommy, Mama Mu sighed and hugged Mu Tongxue tightly. I'm useless. I couldn't protect you. She was the one who complained to Papa Mu. After all, she could not bear the responsibility. If Papa Mu found out that she did not report the truth, he would definitely scold her again. It was also the first time Mu Tongxue felt that Papa Mu's attitude towards her had changed. After school, Mu Qiqi told Xing Xiao about Mama Mu's visit to the little mansion in the morning. Xing Xiao only replied when he was free. The Mu family schemes are getting bigger and bigger. Xiao, actually, I told Madame Mu naughtily that Mu Tongxue is being despised by everyone in school. With her personality, she would definitely tell that person at home, and Mu Tongxue would be in trouble then. After all, she had been treated that way before. Papa Mu had directly laid his hands on her then. The Mu family was a strange existence in itself. Papa Mu cared about his reputation, while Mama Mu cared about her own interests.
Who would really care about a child?
In the past, it was only because Mu Tongxue made them feel less worried and proud. But now Mu Tongxue made them feel embarrassed.
How could Papa Mu hold back now?
That's it? I can make you even worse. Sheng Xiao replied teasingly. Madame Mu told Aunt that I'm being taken care of by a man every day and given a lot of gifts. Luckily, Aunt Zipei didn't believe it. Mu Qiqi reminded Sheng Xiao helplessly. Kept? How are you qualified? Sheng Xiao retorted viciously. In fact, Sheng Xiao's meaning was clear. Mu Qiqi was not a canary he was keeping. He did not like it, and neither did he think it was necessary. Xiao Xiao, am I really that bad? Mu Qiqi could not help asking. Chapter 46. That was why Mu Qiqi did not dare to go out so openly at night, afraid that Su Zipei would find out. After all, Su Zipei trusted her so much. However, Mu Qiqi desperately wanted to see Sheng Xiao. For that, she made sure that Su Zipei was completely asleep before sneaking out. She waited until midnight. When Mu Qiqi went out, Sheng Xiao was already asleep in the car. Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi sat beside him and looked at his handsome face. Have you been waiting for a long time? I thought you became bold and dared not to come out. I would come out even if I have to crawl. But my mother told Aunt Zipei about me today. You know, I was afraid that she would get suspicious, so I waited until she fell asleep. Mu Qiqi explained. Then you won't see me at night anymore? Sheng Xiao looked at Mu Qiqi meaningfully. You don't have to wait until midnight. I want to see you. Mu Qiqi quickly answered. I'm willing to wait until morning. Sheng Xiao could not help driving a little further after achieving his goal. However, he did not leave the villa, because his little one had to go to school tomorrow. She would not be energetic if she did not rest enough. Have you thought about which school you want to go to? Sheng Xiao stopped the car and asked Mu Qiqi coolly. Or, do you want to go abroad? I don't. Mu Qiqi quickly answered.
I just want to stay in Jianchuan.
Sheng Xiao could not help lifting Mu Qiqi's chin at that and asked her wickedly. Do you want to stay in Jianchuan or by my side? Mu Qiqi's heart was intoxicated. She looked at Sheng Xiao and could not help asking, I just want to see you all the time. Sheng Xiao could not help chuckling when he got the answer. Little one, you're getting more and more explicit. With that, he reached out and rubbed Mu Qiqi's lips with his long fingers. Mu Qiqi's heart raced and thumped. She felt as if she was riding the clouds to be so close to the person she loved. Then, Sheng Xiao's face inched closer, his lashes becoming clearer. Soon, her lower lip was caught between his lips. This time, he did not bite, but sucked. Mu Qiqi quickly closed her eyes, but Sheng Xiao had already left her lips. It's quite lousy. A kept woman is very proactive. That's right.
You're right.
Mu Qiqi blushed and quickly buried her head in his chest. This man was too good at flirting. She was just a little girl. She was no match for him at all. Xiao Xiao, I don't know which university I'm going to. Can you help me fill in my wish? When Sheng Xiao heard that, he quickly asked, What if I let you read it again? Are you going to do it? Mu Qiqi shook her head. I trust you. You always do what's best for me. Though Mu Qiqi's words sounded a little fake, Sheng Xiao enjoyed it. Although he did not immediately answer her, he kept her wish in mind. Either way, I don't want to be in the same school as Mu Tongxue. I have a feeling that she would pursue our relationship relentlessly. Sheng Xiao said nothing. He hugged Mu Qiqi and pressed her head against his chest for a few minutes before letting go. You're flying to Italy tomorrow morning. Don't let anyone bully you when I'm not around. I know. Mu Qiqi nodded and left Sheng Xiao's embrace. But just as she was about to get out of the car, Sheng Xiao grabbed her and quickly covered her lips. There was no helping it. The little one's lips were just that addictive. Mu Qiqi reached out to hug Sheng Xiao by reflex and responded clumsily and awkwardly. Afraid of leaving a mark, Sheng Xiao eventually stopped there and did not go too deep. After that, Mu Qiqi got out of the car and returned to the little mansion. Remembering Sheng Xiao's 2 kisses tonight, Mu Qiqi felt that she was about to faint from bliss. Of course, the more blissful she was, the more afraid she was. If the day came when everyone knew about their relationship, Wouldn't she have to separate from Xiao Xiao when that time came? There was no helping it. Her natural melancholy left Mu Qiqi both blissful and fearful. Meanwhile, Sheng Xiao should have been resting after returning to the Sheng family, but instead, he had Jing Yun search for the best faculty in every university in Jianchuan because he did not want to disappoint his little one. Seeing that he was so serious, Jing Yun said, "Young master, you really seem to have fallen for it." Sheng Xiao was sitting on the sofa, flipping through the university information. He knew Mu Qiqi's ability, which was why getting into his alma mater would not be a problem. Moreover, his alma mater's science faculty was one of the top in the country. No one would have imagined that the great crown prince of Huangyao, young Master Sheng, whose very name would strike fear in the hearts of others and eighth brother of the Sheng family would become a demon, was choosing the ideal university for a high school girl who was about to apply to. That was why Jing Yun felt that Sheng Xiao was completely caught up in it. Sheng Xiao did a series of analysis and picked out the faculty that Mu Qiqi was confident in. After putting down his pen, he looked at Jing Yun and said, "Yes, I'm falling for it. Do you have a problem with that?" "Young master, you know very well that's impossible. It would only hurt Miss Mu Qiqi. What are you afraid of if she's not afraid?" Sheng Xiao couldn't help asking Jing Yun in return. "Jing Yun, a soul that succumbs to fate is boring. Young master, I'm just afraid that you would get hurt when the time comes. I've told you before. Hurt is hurt, kneel is kneel. I'm not afraid, so what are you afraid of?" "No matter what you say, I can't stop worrying about my little one now. I can't let go of her, and it's up to you whether you want to support her or keep stabbing her in the back. But I won't change my decision because of you." With that, Sheng Xiao put away the university information and went to the bathroom to wash up. Jing Yun was upset. He could understand if it was anyone else, but why did it have to be Mu Qiqi? The Mu family and the Sheng family had always been incompatible. Although Sheng Zhao's generation no longer cared about those grudges, the generation before him still cared. Still, if he did not stand by Sheng Zhao's side and the matter was exposed, there would really be only two of them left. Although it was hard for him to accept it, he decided to try and accept Mu Qiqi's place in Sheng Zhao's heart. Moreover, he would help young master keep it a secret from master and madam. In fact, Sheng Xiao knew Jing Yun's personality well enough to know that he would never betray him. Even so, the little one could certainly fight back against petty schemes, but she was still so immature when it came to grand schemes. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.